guys. So I just wanted to give a quick, fun update and introduce you to the new voices that you're going to be hearing on this podcast and surprise the three other podcasts that's accompanying it. This has been such a very grueling process to find good people to try to, come on the show and match the previous energy. But I think that I have picked very well. So I want to introduce you guys to the first familiar voice that you're going to be hearing on this show here every other week. He likes long walks in Kettle Moraine State Forest Park. He likes tabletop gaming, and he's also a big fan of sky fishing. Everybody, Tobias Wayland. Tobias, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ashers. It is a pleasure to be here, of course, and thank you for that introduction. It was mostly accurate, in fact. I do indeed love tabletop role playing games, although we probably won't be discussing them very often. But I could for an indefinite amount of time at literally any time. But in terms of general weirdness, which is what we are likely to be discussing, I like everything. For anybody who doesn't know, I am the editor-in-chief and lead investigator for the Singular Fortean Society. And so, along with my wife, Emily, we investigate any number of unusual phenomena. We don't specialize in any particular area. We like it all. So we'll investigate everything from ghosts to UFOs to cryptids and even weirder things. Now, I personally began my investigative career about 15 years ago. I was in my late 20s and I began volunteering with the Mutual UFO Network. And from there, I decided to leave MUFON after just a few years investigating and went off on my own. I had a particular way that I wanted to go about things. And I didn't necessarily mesh with what MUFON was doing. And so I sort of wandered for a bit before I met my wife, and we decided to found the Singular Fortean Society. And the rest, they say, is history, I guess, because now here I am.
Is that what they say?
That is, I've heard that's what they say.
I've heard that too, but I've never been able to verify where that was said.
Or who they are. Yes.
Right, who they are, them, the man, I guess. I don't know. No, very excited to have you on. Tobias is somebody who, I think one of the first people that I kind of got acquainted with in the community, just because we have similar areas of interest, And also, I think because Fortean is not a very popular term, right? I mean, so.
You make a good point. It is the number one thing above ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, whatever. It is the number one thing that I am asked to explain at every conference. What does Fortean mean? And I have no problem with that. I think people need to know who Charles Fort was. I think they need to understand his influence on this field because it is enormous. His shadow sort of falls on every aspect of the paranormal, whether people recognize it or not. And so, I have no problem at all people asking me about that. And, honestly, when it comes to things like, and, this is just is what it is. When it comes to things like search engine optimization, if you want to make sure that what you're doing is never seen again, just dissolved into the ether of the internet, just center it around the word paranormal, because there are already about 3 billion organizations depending on that word to be seen, that it's probably the least efficient way to go about it. So anybody interested in this stuff who wants to be noticed, reclaim that word Fortean. It's unique. It's intriguing. It's a conversation starter. Like, everybody, learn the word, learn who Charles Fort is, use it.
Yeah, It was one of the first terms because I was like, what is that? I study it all, right? What the hell? What does that mean? Because I wasn't comfortable calling myself a cryptozoologist because, especially studying Mothman, that's really people throw it in that category, but it's really not.
Right.
Being a purist, I like to, cataloging was like it's like one of the biggest things that I do is categorize all this stuff. And it just wasn't accurate. And so I came across 40. And I think that's probably how I stumbled upon Singular Fortean Society, because like I said, I don't think anybody else markets that way. Um, but very exciting. You're Wisconsin based, right?
Yeah. We live in southern Wisconsin. We're only about 20 minutes north of the Illinois border. Honestly, kind of in dogman country as far as Wisconsin goes. We live maybe 40, 45 minutes from Elkhorn, where the Beast of Bray Road stuff all happened. And then you get a little further east of that, and you're starting to get into the Kettle Moraine State Forest and that area, of course, which is reputed to have many Bigfoot and Dogman and even UFO and other weird sightings. So we're kind of in the thick of it here. You don't have to go too far south, of course, to be in the area of Illinois that is currently known for winged humanoid sightings, which has made investigating those a lot easier on us. You don't hear about it a ton, but this is a very, very weird area.
Yeah, if you're going to be in that area, I'd agree that you are in prime real estate for what you do. Compared to like Iowa, you know what I mean? Not shitting on Iowa or anything, but
Right. I was just thinking, like, I have friends in Iowa who do this, who might take some umbrage with us saying that. But, I feel like what is probably the case is we have all of these Midwestern states that just don't get a lot of attention, unfortunately, because it's my belief that these anomalous phenomena, right? I don't think that they're as localized as some people like to believe. I think that what we're dealing with is an issue of reporting more than anything. I think this stuff probably happens about evenly everywhere. It's just a matter of whether or not we're hearing about it.
yeah, I agree with that. I very famously make people mad all the time when I say that I don't believe in flaps, because I don't. Every flap has like a dedicated something, right? A dedicated journalist, an investigator, whatever, where people can report these things to. And that's the pattern. It's not so much that there was a pattern of sightings in this particular area. It's that they finally have someone to tell. And so I agree with that. I think underreporting is a big issue. And I mean, we know why, right? It's
Right.
stigma.
Oh,
So
totally.
stigma, and then of course, who are you gonna call? There's no Ghostbusters, so it's just the way it is.
Right.
um
Right.
do you have favorite things that you like to study, even if it's not, because you've written some books, so obviously you're known for some things, but like,
Sure.
if anybody asks me, Mothman's not my favorite, believe it or not. Do you have favorites?
Oh boy. If I had to name one, I've always been a fan of saucer occupants, like anything that comes out of a UFO, anything like that. And I don't mean like grays and stuff, like they're fine, whatever. But I mean like the Pascagoula aliens, like that kind of just weird ass stuff, right? Like that is always my favorite. Kelly Hopkinsville goblins, Flatwoods monster, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think those are good choices. I like those weird, not quite human, not quite alien things. Mantises too. I like those a lot. The mantis aliens, those are fucking strange. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. Um, so outside of this, you're a person, right? You have other areas of interest besides the strange, I'd assume.
Oh, sure. Well, I like to tell people that if it wasn't for the experiences that I've had throughout my life, I probably wouldn't care about any of this. I would probably think a lot of it is relatively silly, which is an unfortunate but common opinion
Mm,
amongst most people, right? But
yeah.
because I have had those experiences, here I am. Otherwise I probably would have been a fairly normal, if a little bit nerdy guy. Because I am into all kinds of things that aren't this. I am a much beleaguered fan of the Chicago Bears. Like I love football, and that's my team. It has been since I was a kid, and I'm just kind of stuck with them at this point. I love all kinds of sci-fi, horror, and fantasy media. So movies, comic books, novels, that kind of thing. I love playing tabletop role-playing games. I'm not a video game guy. I've never been a video game guy. Growing up, they were around. Like I had video game systems. My friends always had them, but I preferred playing outside or reading quietly or playing tabletop role-playing games, which is something I still do today. But yeah, I mean, that as far as that kind of stuff goes, yeah, I could talk for a really long time about my favorite horror movies or what tabletop role-playing games I'm into currently, and maybe I will someday if anybody ever asks me. But you could probably get some kind of idea of the types of things that I'm into just based on that.
Yeah, and we do that on the show. During the intro, there's always going to be some type of banter of just kind of what we're doing, and it's usually not about the paranormal. So people will find. I think it's really important for us to be human and show that we are just the regular fucking people doing the thing, doing the weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
I support that, and it's something that I am, going to continue. We do have a lot of listeners of the show that are into that type of stuff. So fucking thank God, man. I was worried. I was like, I'm not going to find another tabletop nerd. For that
Right.
group of people, I'm thankful for that. Well, I'm super excited to have you be a part of the show. Of course, like I mentioned, Tobias is going to be here every other week on the main on Wednesdays We Talk Weird show. The new shows that are coming up, they are, they're announced, but yet to be announced. I don't want to share more details with you guys until they are recorded, actually. And so you'll hear more about those things in the beginning of the year. However, you are going to be introduced to the cast behind them. So get ready for that. And Tobias, your first show is going to be on I have to time travel, on the 23rd of November, as when people can start hearing you here. So that will
All
be
right.
fantastic. And I'm excited to have you on board.
I'm excited to be here. This is going to be great.
It'll be something, that's for sure. No, it'll be
if nothing else, if you can't say another thing about this, it is that it will be something. That is inevitable.
Inevitable, for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and release you, Tobias, and I'm going to go ahead and bring on the next person. All right, so now on to our next treats. I told you guys this process and kind of how it's going to work. I do have two co-hosts coming on for the Wednesday show. Two great people that I'm hoping that you guys get to know and love as much as I do. So without further ado, probably the only other woman that's hotter than me in this whole community. It's Kenzie.
What an introduction.
You're welcome.
How do I even know how to come back from that.
It's true.
I'm so
it's
nice.
true.
I'm blushing.
Oh gosh. Now you've been on the show before.
Yes, I have.
Actually, you and Tobias both have been on the show before. You are currently in the Texas area, right? You're
yes.
in. Well, I guess not the Texas area. You're
Texas. Yeah,
Right.
I don't think you can call anything the Texas area because Texas is so big.
It's just all Texas, right?
It's all Texas. But yes, I am currently in Texas.
One big Texas. But you're from New England.
I am. I'm from New Hampshire originally.
Oh my gosh. And that is a weird place, I hear.
Sure is. Probably, I think the weirdest place. Well, maybe second to only West Virginia, but
yeah.
But I will say New Hampshire's old. It's old and it's got like a long history of weird shit,
Yeah. And you kind of grew up a weirdo, but not in the same sense that like we did. You have a weird family, is what I hear.
Well, I have a weird dad.
Okay, fair enough.
Not a whole weird. My mom is pretty normal. My siblings are pretty normal, but my dad is a real fucking weirdo. And I am like a carbon copy of him. Like you put, some makeup on him and you've got me basically. So personality and all. So, yeah, I grew up with a dad who shares all the same interests as me. He's been ghost hunting since he was a teenager. Um, that's something that we've always bonded over. It wasn't until the last probably 5 years or so that he's started to get into like cryptids and aliens, but he's always been a big fan of ghosts, and I've always been a big fan of everything.
Yeah. Well, you kind of usually like get into something and then it's like your gateway drug
Oh, for
into
sure.
all of it,
Yeah.
Mine was cryptids, like that's how
Hmm.
it started for me, and then now here I am.
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable, eventually.
Yeah.
And I
It just
think
starts to
that
roll. It's like a ball.
right,
Just rolls.
and then you start looking at it all, and you're like, holy shit! Somehow this is all the same stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's so I understand. Now you actually you worked at the cryptozoology museum, right, for a
I
while?
did. Yeah, I worked there for from April until September of 2021.
Hmm.
It was awesome. It was so much fun. Um, Lauren Coleman was my boss, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He signed my paychecks. Loved that part. No, I enjoyed working with him. He was a very cool man. And I basically got to spend, 2-3 days a week at the, only cryptozoology museum in the world that covers everything,
Yeah.
which was fun. And I got to this sounds like it's like the saddest brag in the world, but I got to clean the display glass, this display case glass every day, which actually was really cool because I got to basically sit there and take like a really in-depth look at everything in the museum every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there was one thing I wanted to focus on a little bit more than something else, I spend a little extra time cleaning that glass that day.
No, that is pretty cool. But you didn't, it's not the museum job that got your interest in it. You actually had
Oh
interest
no.
in the museum job because you were already into it. Like I remember when you
Yeah.
applied for that job.
Yeah, I literally sent Lauren a handwritten letter. He had posted something on Twitter saying, I'm looking for uh a summer employee to, help run the gift shop in the museum
Mhm.
during the busy season, and apply only by mail, or you can drop off your resume here. And I was like, I mean, it's kind of far from me. Where I lived, it was about an hour away. But I
Yeah.
was like, it's a long shot that I get the position anyway. So whatever, like I'll go for it, see what happens. So spent some time literally handwriting him a letter. I, plugged my podcasts. I only plugged the Crypto Chats podcast. I did not mention Manic Pixie Dream Goals to him because I feel like that would have been an immediate no if I had. But, plug my podcast, told him I've been ghost hunting since I was a child, kind of like, explain my interest in all this weird stuff. And, sure enough, I got an email a couple weeks later saying, hey, we want you to come in and interview. And I got the position on the spot, which was so cool. I literally left and I was like, oh my God, like I feel like I need to tell the world this is so cool. But I waited until I started, until my first day. Because
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure, it was actually not that I thought they were going to be like, oh, you can't work here now, but you know what I mean. I was like, I want to,
Just
I
in
want to get
case.
there and start before I start getting too excited.
Right. No, I don't. I completely understand. I wonder how many people he gets applying there. I mean,
Yeah.
is there a lot of people that walk in and they're like, "How do I work here?"
Yeah, but a lot of it is like, what I found is that the majority of people who shared interest in the idea of working there were people who were like visiting, being like, this is so cool. How
Right.
did you get this job? I would love to work here. You know what I mean? And less like local people that are like, this is really cool. But that's not to say there's no local people that felt that way.
Right.
It's just the majority of it is people like, oh yeah, we're visiting and I've always wanted to come here. How did you get this job? That's so cool. Stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. And then trying to find, Lauren Coleman is very uh well, he's like super famous in the
Hmm.
community, and
Yeah.
he's tops, right? In cryptozoology. I mean, that is the man, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So find being somebody who impresses him enough for him to let you come work at his museum. I'm sure he doesn't just let anybody come work
Yeah.
there,
And I'll tell you, that went straight to my head.
uh,
It really did.
that's
Like,
fine.
my ego inflated from that. I was like, damn, okay. I was like,
that
clearly
that
I know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, because honestly, though, I think it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
Lauren's very critical about a lot of things in the
Yeah.
community. He doesn't just go, "Oh, that's something," and I believe it. He's
Yeah.
very,
Oh, for sure.
scientifically driven, very skeptical on certain things. So the fact that, like I said, the fact that you impressed him it
Hmm.
means that something about you, something
Clearly, I
good.
know a thing or two about Bigfoot.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, hey, that's a nice. I mean, I think you get bragging rights for it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, for
Um,
sure. I have used it once or twice. Like, hey, by the way, you know who I used to work for?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lauren Coleman. Yeah, I know him. It's fine. We used to sit around the water cooler together. It's cool.
Yeah, he used
Um,
to sign my paychecks. It was great.
right. Good
He
times.
did one time explain tax information to me, and it was like this very wholesome moment where I was like, You remind me of my dad in this moment, where
Oh,
I don't understand this tax form, and you're helping me fill it
you're still
out.
helping me. Yeah.
It was very nice.
Oh, Lauren Coleman doing regular people stuff. Who
I
would have
know.
thought?
It's very nice.
That's really funny. But before that point, before you even got there, like you mentioned, you had two different podcasts at the time,
Hmm.
and one was a solo and one was not.
Yep.
So, are you still doing crypto chats, which
Not
is your
really.
own thing? Okay.
I know I talked to you a little bit about,
Mhm.
the struggle that I've been having with making time because of the
Sure.
job that I currently have. And the biggest thing is that it's hard for me to chisel out the time to do my research and write my
Right.
episodes, So um, having this format that you have for the Wednesday show where we can just sit and chat about things and um, if I have time to look into it beforehand, great. If not, I get to be
Sure.
surprised is like absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Let me do the work for you. It's fine.
yeah.
In all
I'll just come
fairness, I
in
am the
with
one
my
getting paid for it, so
yeah,
it's all right.
yeah, there we go. Perfect. But yeah, it's I love doing the Crypto Chats podcast and I would
Yeah.
love to be able to bring it back eventually.
Hmm.
Um but right now, like I don't really foresee that being a possibility with my
Yeah.
job the way it is right now. It's very
Right.
demanding.
Right.
So it's very difficult for me to have the time to, even just today, like I told you, I went into work at 4 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning and, just got home at about 1 o'clock and, I have to make dinner and try to be a human being for a couple hours before I have
Yeah.
to
It's
go to
terrible.
sleep at 6 p.m. to
Yeah.
go back to work at 4 a.m., So it's like, it's just tricky. I do want to bring back the podcast and my co-host from my shared podcast also we've talked about the
Hmm.
idea of bringing it back because it was fun. It's
Hmm.
cryptozoology in a fun light. It's not as uptight and factual. It's just let's have fun and talk about these weird things that happen in the world.
Yeah.
Um, but again, you know, it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
being an adult, man. It's hard to find
Right.
time for things you love when you're an adult.
Yeah. Squeezing all this stuff in is difficult, and
Yeah.
let's be honest, you have to have things like shelter and food
And
and
dinner. Yeah, I have to
right.
eat
I
dinner. I
mean,
can't not.
you have to be able to afford stuff,
Yeah.
and like I've talked about many times in the show, it's not like this stuff really pays to do that.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's
Yeah. It's
definitely a
a
passion project.
it's a struggle for sure.
Yeah. But crypto chats was great. I mean, it was like
Thank
little
you.
bite-sized pieces of weirdness,
Yeah.
and I love that, as opposed to you can't just listen. Well, even my own podcast, it's very long, and
Yeah.
that's just how most podcast listeners prefer that. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
have bad ADHD,
Me
so
too.
I enjoyed the fact that it was 20 minutes
Yeah.
and I
Well,
could
I
listen to it in
based
a
it a
car.
lot on the fact that that was my drive to work. you know?
Yeah.
I don't like having to stop in the middle of a show and then go to
Right.
work and then hope that I remember what was being talked about and then come back. With the
Right.
exception, there's a very few shows that are the exception, and the Wednesday show is one of them.
Oh,
Because we share a brain cell, you and I,
I agree. Yeah.
so I don't have to remember what we were talking about because I can just pick up on it and the brain cell
Right.
gets it. So, but that's really what it was based on, was that, you know, I'd drive to work, it would take me 15, 20 minutes, and I'd get to work and be like, well, that was a satisfying little drive, and I learned something, and there we go. And
Yeah.
I said, that's a great format. That works for me. That works for my attention span. There we go.
Yeah. And that's definitely the intention with the brand new shows coming out on top of
Hmm.
the Wednesday show. I don't want them to be as long. They don't need to be.
Yeah.
But it is more information, more content for people to consume
Hmm.
in a different way, in a different light. And so I'm kind of taking a page out of your book, trying to anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes once it gets down to recording because man, I sure do love to talk.
Me
I
too,
don't
man.
know.
That was the hardest part. The thing that makes it a little easier though, like, I don't know if this is super relevant to your new shows, but not having anyone to derail you makes it a little bit
Yeah.
easier to not
Yeah.
be derailed, because you can derail yourself. That is definitely, like, if you've ever listened to an episode of Crypto Chats, I have done that 1,000 times. I am very good at derailing my own thought process, but I am not better at it than anyone else. You
Sure.
know, so
Sure.
it's a lot easier, at least for me, to stay on focus, on
When it's
track,
just you, yeah.
when it's just me.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Well, maybe if people start listening to this show, they'll start bothering you to bring back crypto
Yeah.
chats. At
People bother
minimum,
me about it all the time, and I always feel bad when I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
we'll see.
I'm
Yeah,
like, if
that
you guys want to start pay me,
right,
a day's wages at my job, and I'll take an extra day off every week
right.
and record
Yeah,
for you. How about that?
that
Pay me
works.
for one day of work, and I'll do
Right.
it.
I don't blame you one bit. Start a Patreon.
Yeah,
Telling you,
I always thought about that,
start
but
doing right.
that's the other thing. I don't even have time to, like,
Yeah, then you
post
have
on
to
Instagram, let
do the
alone doing a bunch of
Patreon.
other shit. So
I know. I feel that.
I'm
It's
also just
terrible.
lazy. I'm tired and I'm lazy, and it's getting cold out now. So I'm like, now I just want to lay in bed all the time. It was colder
Yeah.
here in Texas than it was in New England the other day.
Really?
Yeah, really. It was like 31
Wow.
degrees out, and I, posted to my Instagram story, and my best friends back home were like, "Oh my god, it's warmer here." I was like, "Shut the fuck up." No, it's not. And they sent me a screenshot, and sure enough, it's like 20 degrees warmer
Oh
there.
wow.
I was like,
My
"Holy shit." I
gosh.
was like, "I think I brought winter
No.
to Texas."
Texas had that big ass snowstorm during the pandemic, and then
Yeah, they did.
nobody had power and shit. It was
Yeah,
nuts. So, hopefully they're prepared now with you
they're not. It's
fucking
fine.
being Mother Winter and bringing.
It's okay. Everyone can catch me at the grocery store because I know how to drive in the snow.
Very
I'll
true.
be fine.
That's true. That's true. So I just wanted to kind of cover a couple of other things.
Sure.
Aside from being weird, I mean, what other kinds of things are you into outside of this community?
I make jewelry. That's one
You
thing that
do.
I post on my personal Instagram, but not very much on my podcast Instagram or anything. But I make jewelry with bones and crystals and all sorts of stuff. A lot of wire, metal. One of my friends recently was teaching me a little bit. She's a silversmith, so she's been teaching me a little bit of silversmithing. So
That's neat.
yeah, it's really cool. It's something I've always wanted to kind of start to get into. And I
Hmm.
had to looked into some classes and stuff before I moved. And then I moved, so, kind of back to square one. But she's been teaching me some stuff, so I'm excited to start incorporating that into my jewelry as well. So I do
Yeah.
jewelry. I have a cat. I'm a cat mom. Um, I don't know, I'm obsessed with her. Her name is Molly. She's a little black cat. She has big green alien eyes. She's very cute.
I love her
My
white whiskers.
Aren't they so cute? She also has
Yeah.
black whiskers. Her whiskers are like
Really?
half black and half white. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't
You gotta
notice
like
that.
really zoom in because she's black, so it's hard to see them
Yeah.
against it. But I also really like wrestling, professional wrestling. Um,
Yeah. 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 See you do that on the Twitter.
yeah, Yeah, me and my boyfriend will live tweet
I think that's
episodes of
awesome.
wrestling with our shitty opinions about what's going on. But we also host a lot of like, pay-per-view parties and stuff, and I will kind of bring in some friends of ours that we love that don't know much about wrestling and try to,
Right.
ease them into what the fuck's happening all the
It is
time.
fun. I do miss wrestling pay-per-view
Yeah.
parties. That was the shit back in the
You
day.
gotta fly down to Texas and you can come to our next one.
I'm going to. I'm going to
Hell
fly
yeah.
down there just to come to your wrestling pay-per-view
Just
party.
for one wrestling pay-per-view. I
And then
think
go
it'd be
back home.
worth it, to be honest with you. Because they're always
Yeah,
good.
that's fair enough. So jewelry making and wrestling and your cat.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
that's it.
fantastic. Super
Cryptids,
best friends.
cats, jewelry, wrestling. The four
That's fun.
things. Four
Yeah.
things to know about me.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for you to be here.
Me too.
Um,
I'm excited to be here. This is fun for me.
yeah.
It's something I've missed podcasting. Not enough to, you know, not sleep as much as
Right.
I need to, in
Right.
order to write an episode, but
Yeah.
enough that this is, I saw your tweet about it and I jumped at the opportunity because I was like,
Yeah.
no, I would love to do this. So I'm
Yeah. It's
happy to be here.
exciting. Well, and, we have fun here. It's
Oh,
not
yeah, we do.
boring, so
Yeah.
it's good. And then every episode you've done, so I think you've been on 3 shows, which is a lot for our guests.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, because I'm the
so
best. That's why.
you are the best, and that's why you were chosen. So no, right away Kenzie's like, I'll do it, and I'm like, listen, shut up, because I will cancel all the applications right now. And I've already picked. So that was just a no-brainer. I mean, it instantly, and then when I was telling, of course, Pat's been curious about who's taken over.
Yeah.
And when I told him, he said very nice. So he's
Hell yeah. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate that.
he's excited also for us. So yeah, it'll be great. You will be here. Your first show will premiere November 15th.
Yep.
I believe is
Or
the date. Yes.
16. Is it the 15th or the 16th?
I think it's the 15th because
math.
I'm gonna calendar it. I had to do this with Tobias too. It'll be, yes, the 15th. Will be your first show here. So it will officially as the new as one of the new co-hosts. And then you'll be back here every other week going forward. So it'll be a great time. I'm super looking forward to it. And I can post social media links down below for you guys to follow Kenzie. And start to get to know her. If for some reason you already don't,
Yeah,
we can
catch
change
up.
that.
What the heck?
Right. Get on there. Go look at her whiskers and her jewelry and her wrestling tweets. It's do the thing,
Maybe don't look at my wrestling tweets. You might not like me that much anymore afterwards.
No. I don't know anything about it, so
There's a lot of hot takes in wrestling, and I've got a lot of hot takes to share. So
every one of them is a hot take.
I basically, yeah.
Kenzie shows up to wrestling. She's like, I'm gonna be the problem here.
Yeah, I got a lot of bold opinions that are
That's
not usually
okay.
respected that much, but that's fine. I'm alright. Listen, I'm a woman in cryptozoology. I'm like, you can't hurt my feelings anymore.
Right.
Then.
Right.
I'm a woman who likes cryptozoology and wrestling.
Yeah.
So, and I live in Texas. So
Yeah,
I'm like, 3 strikes, man.
Your
It don't
very
matter.
existence is just an issue for the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it don't matter.
I totally understand. Well, alrighty. Well, I look forward to having you on. And with that said, guys, I'll go ahead and roll you into the next introduction. Alrighty, guys, and on to our next introduction here. He's got a voice for radio and a beard that just don't quit. Everybody, Jimothy Strange.
Hello.
Jimothy.
The face is for radio too, and I appreciate you not saying it out loud.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. Oh, geez. Already fucked up. Yeah, this might not work out. I don't. Anyway, how are you? How you doing?
I am doing great here. Honestly, I'm happy to be here and ready to just get weird with it, or at least I've been weird with it. I'm just ready to let other people see the weird that I'm doing as well. So
ready to flash everybody you're weird, huh? Is that
absolutely consensually?
Well, I mean, they can look away if they choose to, but I don't think they're going to look away. They like that stuff here, you know. So
And that's why I'm here. I liked it. It was, weird attracts weird, right? So
exactly. No, so you got to come on and you got to be one of the guest hosts. Not everybody did, and I know that's probably going to seem strange to some people, but I'll be honest. I just was so excited to start this process. I couldn't wait. So you're coming on to do the three other shows, which I haven't really gotten into too much detail about on purpose with the listeners, just because I kind of, as they come out, want them to be a surprise. They're going to like them, right? You know what they are. They're going to like them, right? Do you think they'll like them?
They're going to love it.
Okay.
They're going to love it.
And, as a former listener turned, partner, I guess, partner sounds too intimate. Co-host, I guess, is correct.
Yeah. Well, if you throw business in front of partner, it's a little less intimate.
Fair enough. Is this really a business though? We're not
Is
really.
it? Because we haven't discussed pay or anything, and I didn't come into it expecting any. So,
I can pay you in cat hair. That's
organic, ethically sourced. Collect enough and make your own pop filter for the microphone. Perfect.
Exactly. It's good for microphones. But yeah, so you've been in this stuff for a long time, right? I mean, not just like this show, but like just the weird, right? You're a fan. Is that correct?
I have been an experiencer of the weird since I was a very young child, and then once I grew up and somewhere around probably like 2005 started watching, Ghost Hunters and realizing that, hey, I can talk back to this stuff, because before I just honestly actively ignored it.
Yeah.
It was around me and I was like, well, that's weird. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to do anything here. I'm just going to stuff that down, and we're going to keep trudging along. And then I started seeing all of this other stuff online. Actually, I'll tell you the catalyst. The very first thing that I saw that made me think, oh, wait, I can talk back to this. I can do more stuff. As stupid as it is, and not a good movie as it is, it was the movie White Noise. And the one where he talks through the radio and they do the ITC and EVPs.
Right.
That was the catalyst for me really getting into thinking about how I could talk to these things that I had already been experiencing. Because before, like I said, I just kind of repress it and be like, okay, that was a weird thing. Let's just move along. Let's keep going. But then I started researching things about it. Like, is this real? Is this based on something? And that set a whole path out in front of me where I was like, okay, here's all of this weird stuff and ways that you can communicate and talk back and let the weird be one with you. So that was kind of what did it for me.
Does that movie hold up? I haven't watched it since it came out. Have you? I'm assuming you have since then.
I started to watch it. I was on Prime Video or something. I was working from home one day during the pandemic back in 2020. And I feel like I started to try and watch it, but either I was busy or something. I didn't get through it. I probably just went back to watching Hellier or something easily accessible instead.
I understand. I am not a big fan of I love horror, not a big fan of supernatural horror, to be honest.
Yeah. It's because, well, we talk to people. I say we, as in, you've talked to, a million people through here that actually live and experience this stuff. I've talked to a lot of people myself, and I've been to conventions and just, just engaging with people online, just, Twitter, and like dropping things out there. And I like to have discourse with people as well. And what they put in the movies is, it's not realistic, quote unquote. Like if you watch a Conjuring movie, and then you come out of that thinking this is everything is demons, that's what this is. Like that's what it's made for. It's dramatization to make money. That's what Hollywood does to it.
I agree with that. And there probably are some good ones that aren't terrible, that are more accurate, but I haven't had the patience to sit down and try to find one. So if any of the listeners have suggestions, I will take them. And it's hard when you're doing a paranormal investigation. Well, I guess a lot of my investigations get kind of weird, so I'll go out cryptid hunting, and I'll use paranormal investigative means during my cryptid hunt. So I will use traditional paranormal stuff like spirit boxes and dowsing rods and all kinds of fun stuff. And try to work that into it. So anyway, when you're out there and you're actually investigating something, it's more of a feeling that you get, and it's really hard to translate that into anything, into a movie, into a book, into anything. How did I
Yes.
feel? I don't know, man. I just felt fucking weird.
Vibes, man.
It was just right. It was just, I knew it. I knew it was strange because I felt it. So maybe that's why it's difficult to make one of those. I don't know. Anyway, you happen to be a horror fan yourself, is that right?
Oh yeah, I am a huge horror fan. In October, I tried, as I try every year, to do the 31 days of Halloween,
Oh yeah.
31 days of horror, and I didn't get around to watching a horror movie every single night, but I got probably at least half of the month. I got a lot of horror podcasts in. I did do that
Oh,
on the
good.
daily at least, so I had my fair share of spooks in October. And honestly, it's not like it changes too much throughout the rest of the year. It's just
Right.
more I'm active about posting about it on social media in October, because it's like, hey, look at me. I'm trendy this month. Look at this.
Right. I'm following the crowd. I'm so cool.
Exactly. Like tonight, I was watching Ma on Netflix, so I'm already like still doing horror. Like I'm not
Yeah.
that
Same.
doesn't get turned off or down or anything. It's just maybe I don't post a movie poster about it since I'm watching it, in November instead of October.
Yeah, I completely. I've been trying to do better about letting people know what I'm watching. I don't get to watch a lot of movies, but if I do, it's horror movies, and sometimes it's real pieces of shit, and sometimes it's a masterpiece. It just depends. That's horror, right?
Yeah, but sometimes those piece of shit horror movies are the masterpieces.
They
Like
are.
let's
Yeah.
Troll 2. Troll 2. I'm going to put that one up on the
Yeah,
pedestal.
that's
Piece
a
of
good
shit,
example.
absolute masterpiece. Love it.
Yep, you're not wrong. Almost all trauma. Almost all trauma. Perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
But because it's so imperfect, so I understand the sentiment there. What else do you do besides horror movies and talk double on podcasts?
I sometimes I no, that was me faking it that time.
That was a good impression.
No, so by day I am part of the day I host a morning radio show. I'm a country music DJ, which is they pay me to do it, so I do it. And then I also, once I leave there, I am a customer service agent for a box company.
Ooh,
So
nice.
those are
Very nice.
my two lives. We make corrugated boxes and packaging and pizza boxes, and sometimes those two overlap,
Wait,
and I have to record commercials for that business when I'm at the radio, and it's just a really weird time.
so hold on. So wait. Okay. So it actually is a box. So when you said box company, I'm thinking you're like you're just saying big box company, like I don't know, Kohl's or something. I don't know, but you literally mean it's a company that makes
It
boxes.
is corrugated packaging. It's a lot of people call it cardboard, and that's what I called it when I first started. And that's apparently a dirty word in the
Oh.
corrugated industry, because cardboard is actually paperboard that's less than 3 microns. Blah blah blah. I don't care.
Oh.
it's if you think cardboard boxes, like Bath and Body Works is one of the ones that we make, where it's got the blue gingham paper
it's
on the
nice.
inside. That's
Yeah.
a board that we corrugate and make. We're doing a lot of business with Amazon right now, printing those boxes. So
So
all the different
fancy
sizes.
cardboard boxes is what you mean.
Yeah, we cut and print them. Some of them glue together, and then some of them are just big die cuts, like Little Caesars. Doing a lot with Little Caesars right now. So it's actually it's a big box company, but not like Walmart or Kohl's. No.
Right. So
Although we do make Walmart products, we do make boxes for Walmart. So
but you work customer service. I guess I won't pry too much. I know some people are weird about putting their jobs out there, but you work customer service for the box company.
yeah, I'm a customer service agent. I do a tracking on the orders. I'll put new orders into the system, and I also do a lot of quoting. Like that's a big part of mine right now, where people are asking, "Oh, I need a truckload of boxes at this dimensions, this with this many inks and this," and I go into detail on that and get them a good quote. So I also do that. So
Wow.
it's pretty boring, but it's not uninteresting. There is a
Yes.
distinction there to me.
It sounds like the job itself is probably just, run of the mill job, but
It's a nice
I,
desk job, and I get to sit and listen to podcasts all day, so it's
I
pretty
see.
cool.
I love that for you and for me. Um, being a podcaster, I don't know. Yeah, that is interesting. Now, I probably just bored everybody I was so fascinated by your box job. I just derailed everything.
I
That's
try to make it sound a lot more interesting than it is when I do talk about it, so I
No,
try.
I mean, I think it's, people don't think about stuff like where their boxes come from, and maybe they should. I don't know. It's
I see. I do now because if
you
a
do
lot
now.
of boxes, when you'll flip them over on the bottom, there's usually like a circle that says where the box was made, and it says the strength of the box. You'll see like 32 on a lot of them. That's a box manufacturer certification. I flip those over all the time and look at the box and see what company made it. Like, oh, hey, that one came from our competitor here, and all that. Like, there's once you know about these things, it's just I can't stop looking at them. It's
Yeah,
an addiction almost.
I understand. I've worked for big box companies too, but not box
Not
companies. So
physically
I
box
get
companies,
it.
but yeah,
Yes, right. And then you're like, hey, that's mine. That's ours. I did that. Somehow.
exactly.
You have a sense of pride, and that's fine. You're allowed to have that in the things that you do, even if it's making boxes. Because
And you learn to judge the competitors too. Be like, oh, look what they did here. Look at this glue tab. Look, this is skewed when they glued it together. This is terrible, shoddy workmanship.
yeah,
Oh, the
you do
print
like
on
to
this
talk
is
shit about your
awful.
competitors.
Absolutely.
It's like that in the theater business. You would always talk shit about the next theater over, like, oh, they've got popcorn for $6.50 and our popcorn $6.25. Fuck them.
Suck it. Ha.
Yeah, right. That's why everybody comes here. So I understand. Wow, that's super interesting. And then you have family, right? You're a family person. You do the family thing.
Oh, yes. I am happily married, and my spouse is a Tori Phantom. They're also a fun TikTok person, some people might know. And then we do have 3 lovely daughters here as well. So it's a full house for sure.
Oh, right. You're surrounded by you have 3 daughters. I can't
Oh, yeah.
imagine.
It's fun, honestly. I don't like the term, but I understand it. But it's fun being a girl dad, because it's like I'm not
Yeah.
a girl dad, and then I think about it, I'm like, no, I'm totally a girl dad. That's why my toenails are painted right now, and yeah, I'm definitely a girl dad.
Do you have pets?
We do not. Well, we do have pets actually. We have. I don't think of them as pets. It's weird because they're just part of the family too, also. But we have 5 rats actually.
Oh.
We've got some fancy rats because my middle daughter, she is allergic to literally everything that they tested her for. So we can't do dogs or cats or anything like that. And we'll get there in a year or two when she finishes up her allergy shots. I know TMI, but we
Very exciting.
say we did find that rats, she's not allergic to them. They don't irritate her. They don't bother her. So we've got some fat rat boys, and those are our pets right now. And they are basically just part of the family. It's like I'll be having a snack and just hand it over to them. And they all have the dumbest names. There's Maple, Syrup, Glitter Bomb, Pancake, and Floppa. I think that's
okay.
So that's their names. They're half named by the children and half named by Tori. So that's about a 50-50 split. It's not all just children. So
I see there was a trend for a minute, and then now there's not. So
and then it just collapsed. Yeah.
As someone who also named their animals a trendy pair of names, I get it. It's difficult, to come up with. I've already started. My cats are 13, so they're getting there. I'm hoping to keep them for another 10 years, but we'll see.
Hopefully so.
Cats they can and they can't. It just depends how they're built. But I've already started thinking about, well, what am I going to name my next animals? Which is probably wrong, right?
No, it's we had kids' names picked out and everything all the way up ahead, and we've got boy names picked out that we never got to use. Like, you always got to be prepared,
just in case. I mean, it's weird because your parents don't die, and you're like, well, who am I going to call my parent next? Just one of those things. So
I feel like there's somebody out there listening that says, no, I actually did that though.
They might have done that. Maybe I should do that.
You could
I have
claim
one
new
parent.
parents. You know,
Yeah,
I
could get a new
personally, I
parent.
never met my dad. So,
Right.
I would say if anybody wants to be my daddy, but that's putting out an invitation that I don't want to put out, actually. Don't want to put that one out into the ether. I will
What,
just, I'll
what
just be
if
my own
not?
daddy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I learned a lot about our listeners back when Pato did the God did the slides giveaway when we started making slides in the merch shop and was going to make a whole foot calendar, and people were on board. They wanted those slides.
Well, I mean,
So, they were more than happy to take pictures and send them to him.
it, it takes all kinds. That's all I'll say.
But no, good for you guys for being participating weirdos.
Exactly.
They're proud of them too. They'll show them off, and I'll see them at events wearing their slides. I'm like, hey, I know you.
Recognize those tootsies.
I'm just saying everything's got a price. I mean, that's
Yes.
So as far as these topics go, do you have any particular favorites? Any favorite anything, creatures, events, topics in the weird?
I am kind of all over the place. My main focus of fandom, I guess, would be a lot of paranormal stuff, like ghosts, rather.
Mhm.
I'll say it that way because it's all kind of paranormal. But ghosts and hauntings and things like that, that's always been my biggest subject of interest. But then, in the last few years, I've gotten really into Bigfoot and other cryptids like Mothman. That whole case is probably one of my favorite ones.
I've never heard of that before. So
Mothman, it was this creature down there in Mexico, I think it was. And
yeah, it was. Yeah, I've heard of that.
yeah, it was the Mexican Mothman in Monterey. But no, that whole phenomenon and that's really I don't know what happened. I don't know where it was, because before I was always like, aliens, yeah, there could be something there. I'm not terribly interested. And then one day it was just like a light switch turned on. Like, wait, I feel like all of this is connected. And as I started doing more research at the time, it looked exactly that way. So it's like, I don't know where one ends and begins with the other. So I still really like the haunted things. And, I live not far from Waverly Hills.
Mhm.
So I go up there every chance I can, when there are events and things like that. And I still really like the ghost stuff, but I like the thought of looking for Bigfoot, but I got a bum knee. So traipsing around out in the woods,
Yeah.
like the guys on Mountain Monsters, as much as I would love to do that, I feel like I would be eaten by coyotes or something, because I would fall down out there in the brush somewhere. I'd still like to go.
What do you think your cool nickname would be if you were on Mountain Monsters?
Big Jimbo.
Big Jimbo, yeah.
Yeah, big Jimbo.
That's right. Yeah,
I've got the beard to be on Mountain Monster. I've got the body to be on Mountain Monster too, for sure. I just don't have the overalls. If I had overalls, I could go out in the woods right now and somebody would see me and they'd think, "Oh, they're filming right now. They've come here."
Yeah, probably. No, you're located in a great area for really strange stuff. You're in Kentucky, right?
Oh, yes.
Yep, and that is a very strange. So far, I've asked everybody who's co-hosting where they live and their social security numbers. So that's next.
On the air, I'll speak up so everyone can hear it. So
please do, yeah. Get your credit card information out too. We got to make sure you're legit.
Sure, it's a 666.
But no, Kentucky's a very strange place. One of my favorite stories is from there. Of course, the goblins, the Hopkinsville green men or goblins, or the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter, or the Kelly goblins, or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Oh, yes.
That is probably one of the most notable instances in ufology, really. Very weird, very strange. Of course, people think that they just saw owls outside. Owls don't do the things that these things did, and owls don't wear metal, I don't think.
And they don't leave scorch marks on the ground when they fly away either.
I mean, unless owls were just really weird in the 1950s. I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Exactly, but I still I don't know. That's definitely one of my favorite stories here from the state as well. I actually have a tattoo of the Kentucky goblins, but it's in the shape of the Vitruvian Man, like the Da Vinci drawing. But
Yeah,
it
that's
is
very
one of
cool.
the goblins, like with the arms outstretched and the legs and everything.
That's awesome.
I have one of those, so I'm very partial to that story as well.
Oh yeah, well, I can understand why it's a good one. Very very weird. But yeah, Kentucky's filled with it. It's just another part of whatever the fuck is going on in this area. Um, it's just
Absolutely.
part of that whole tale.
And
So,
it's coast to coast in Kentucky as well, from literally the Mississippi River all the way over to the Ohio River and the Appalachian Mountains, that where it butts up against West Virginia, like literally everything right along like the 37th parallel right there. Every
yeah,
bit of it. It's weirdness from tip to tip.
yeah, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of the people that you guys will hear on this show live in weird areas and have experiences with strange things. And again, it shouldn't be surprising to anybody listening, or but that's why I'm pointing it out to you guys, I guess, just to have another gotcha moment. I don't know, just like, see, it is weird here. It's
See, told ya.
yeah, I told you so. You didn't believe me, but I told you. Which is not true. Nobody's ever challenged me on that, so I don't know why I felt the need to throw it out there. But
Just say, I think they listen because they're like, no, we know it's weird. We want to hear more about the weird.
right.
That's me. At least that's my perspective. Anyway, it's like, hey, I'm weird. This place is weird. I want to talk to the, or I want to hear these other weirdos.
Yeah,
It's almost
fair
that parasocial relationship where it's like, yeah, these are my friends. No, they're not my friends. I just listen to them in my ears a lot.
fair enough. I'm like that too, though. I think everybody's my friend, even if they're not. So, like, I'll watch a movie and there'll be a really famous actor on there. I'm like, oh my god, that's my friend. I know them. And
Oh, my friend Quentin Tarantino, who directed those
right,
movies. Yeah.
right.
Taking
I've
it back to
watched all
feet, I
his
guess.
movies.
Just
I know them. It's whatever. It's just how I am. I'm just really friendly. I don't know. But anyway, so you're going to be coming on for the mostly the guest shows. I know that this is probably really not the guest shows, I guess, but the new shows that are coming, that you guys will find here underneath the same feed, by just already subscribing to the show that you're already listening to. Those will be coming out very soon, and then of course I'm going to put everywhere you can follow Jimothy, down in the description as well, alongside everybody else that you've heard thus far. I forgot that I'm kind of time traveling and recording these on different days, so whatever.
into the
in case,
vortex here.
in case you guys didn't know, that's the secret. But anyway, so I definitely look forward to having you on here. I'm super excited to bring your perspective into these situations, and people will be checking you out soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much for considering me and having me on as well.
Absolutely. Okay, well, on to the next one, you guys. Alrighty, guys. Next up in line, we have somebody who's not afraid to get down and dirty in the world of the weird. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Flood.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you join. We got to meet finally at Monster Fest, right?
What a blast. Am I right? Good
this
God.
year? It was this year.
Yeah, no, it was this year. It was, yeah.
My gosh, it's been a year. That was a really good time. I'm very excited for Monster Fest 2. I'm not sure if you're going or not, but I will be there. So
I've got a booth this time. Maybe we can actually reunite Gold Strike Force Team Go.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. We should calculate and get us all together in the same spot. That's important.
Definitely.
Or at least yell at each other across the vendor room.
Right.
I don't put that past us at all. We're like that. We're that kind of people. It was absolutely fantastic to finally, exchange some real life words with you. Especially seeing your content all this time, and then, you just never know. I'm a person to person type of person, I guess. So so why don't you just give the audience, in case they don't know who you are, a quick rundown of who you are and kind of what you do.
Yeah, sure. My real name is John Killian. Most people just call me Flood. That is a name that I've adopted, and it's the one that I will typically answer to. But if you call me John, I'll still answer to that too. I am a paranormal investigator and also the creator and host of the XV Planets podcast, which is a little bit less of a podcast and more of like a journal of doing these investigations. And I've been an active paranormal investigator for several years now, and yeah, in the last couple of years, we've really started to ramp it up and kind of change a dynamic, and it's kind of turned into a network of nutcases that are very, very interested in this in a good and healthy way, as opposed to some of the toxicity that we see
Sure.
in modern paranormal research. And that's one of the reasons that I connected so well with you.
Yes, I'm all about that community. That is my favorite part. Growing up as a weird kid, you're kind of singled out for a while, and then you grow up and you realize, oh my God, there's other people like me.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you seem perfectly normal to me. So,
right. Well, thank you. Oh my gosh, that's nobody's ever said that to me before. Um, yeah, I think that what you're doing is great. You put a lot of emphasis on boots on the ground research, and as much as we need regular armchair researchers, right? We need the people to read the books and,
oh, we
and go through
do.
the theories and,
Yeah,
and
because
all
I
that.
don't have time for that stuff. I
Right.
really don't.
Right. And so, but we also need people to investigate, to actually get out there and do the thing. And then what we need is to bring both of those worlds together. So,
100% agree. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
to me, it sounds like you're attempting to do exactly that. And I think that that's absolutely fantastic. Which of course is one of the many reasons why I wanted to invite you on, and we could network and work together in a more intimate setting. I've already messed up. I called somebody else a partner earlier, and it
You
sounded
can call me
sexual.
whatever you want. It's like because we immediately assume, like, as somebody who's part of the poly and BDSM scene, you say partner, and that immediately has a vision associated with it. But I also work in business as a chef, so partner can
It's
mean a
fair.
lot of things. People just roll with it. All right.
Partner, intimacy, whatever. It is what it is. That's what we're just full of love here. Okay, I'm full of love. Damn it, I have so much love, and it's just spilling out onto all of you, and I'm excited about it. So,
I
um,
wouldn't be here talking with you if I didn't feel the same. So.
yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. So I just wanted to kind of, of course, people are going to hear you here regularly. They can also, once they start listening to what, I guess, once you prove yourself to them, they can go listen to your show. If I think that's how that works here. Um, but no, seriously. In the meantime, they should go check your show out to kind of get to know you on a more personal level. But on a more personal level, outside of the paranormal, what do you like to do? What kind of person are you?
Well, actually, I want to backtrack to that for a second, and then I'll explain what I do when I'm not chasing ghosts or cooking food for the masses who are incredibly ungrateful. Uh,
Yes.
I know I'm actually thrilled that you reached out to me because what I do on my end, it's a little stuffy, and it's a little obsessive. And when you and I had our first initial conversation, I'm like, yes. Oh my God. Finally, I can just kind of kick off my shoes, prop my feet up, and have fun with this, which is
Yes.
not something that I really get to do on my end because I'm constantly in the field, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of data research and organization. So no, I'm
It's
elated.
work,
It
and
is work.
people,
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got the coolest job in the world." I'm like, "I do, but job. You got to remember, I love it, of course, but it is very much a job. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
something." So I agree. I think that this is, it was good for me to introduce these new shows. Everybody thinks I'm nuts for for doing even more than I already do, but
Right.
the point of it was to enjoy it. I like this stuff too, and I want to have a reason to like it again. And if that means having multiple conversations with many different people on a variety of subjects, then that's what we're here doing. And so I'm glad that you are excited to be able to enjoy yourself.
Oh hell yeah! No, this is an opportunity. Honestly, anybody who does know me, you all will see a completely different side of me when I work with you because it's very very different. And you and I have had some really great conversations, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to bringing that to the table. Now, as far as what I'm doing when I'm not chasing the unknown or, as I said, cooking for the ungrateful masses, God, I can't wait to quit that job. Um, I am also a musician. I'm a sound designer. If anybody is interested, can I plug really quick?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you're interested in the type of music that I do, you can look up Folds and Floods in any streaming service, and you'll find the work that I've done so far. Mostly instrumental, but it's a lot of fun. And yeah, beyond that, I'm an avid hiker when I get the chance, and a novice astronomer, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's okay. I've had, a wide variety of people. Of course, I kind of explained that I'm time traveling a little bit, but anybody listening to this episode has heard a huge range of different interests. But of course, some crossover between them. So that's always very fun. So
I
very
haven't
cool.
heard the rest of them. I'm really excited to hear about who's part of this new family you're creating.
It's a surprise. I'm just kidding. It's not. I'll give you the list off the air. But if you're interested, but
Yes.
yeah, it's well, I'm hoping that all of you can work together as well. That is a goal that I've got. I would like to get all of you together, all us weirdos. But that's just something that we're just taking this one step at a time. This is a whole brand new family of Strange here, and it is coordinated with a bunch of different people, as you guys are hearing here today. So eventually we will get everybody at least in the same room. I mean, so
I mean, I'll be moving back to the East Coast here before too long, so the probability for that definitely increases.
yes, I think that's fantastic. Most weird people are from this area. You
Actually, they're from everywhere except Central Time Zone.
except Central Time. You're the only one.
No, no, I'm not from here. Oh, please,
Oh,
no, no,
that's
no.
true. That's
I am.
true.
Yeah, I'm only here for take care of family. That's it. I can't wait to get out of here and get back to where I belong.
That's right. I forgot all about that. Interesting. Yes. Yeah, gosh, we do have so much to talk about. We've had like very similar experiences with high strangeness. That was
Hmm.
pretty interesting. It definitely stood out to me. And then, just hearing some of the stuff that I know that you've got planned coming up, it's very exciting.
Thank you.
I definitely want the audience to be able to partake in all of that as well.
Well, hopefully,
So
I'll also pull you into my world as this collaboration continues.
I will be there. I mean, whatever you need from me, I will provide as much as I can. I live for this stuff.
I need
So if
$20,000 in small unmarked bills.
um let me see what I could do. I might note that.
I
Um
don't offer unless you mean it. You know.
fair enough. Fair enough. We talked about with one of the earlier people, we talked about feet pictures. So that's always an option.
Yeah, I've got Hobbit type feet, very furry on top, not very pretty. But if somebody's into that, man, I need the money. Like I'll take it.
Everything comes with a price, and there's definitely something out there for everybody. So
Absolutely.
we don't kink shame here.
No, hell
on this
no,
big
not
show,
ever. No.
But anyway, I'm super excited. I already know what you and I are going to talk about. So that is a huge plus. Because I think that they're great topics, and I'm look forward to working with you more. So for everybody listening, I will of course put the social media links down below, as well as the rest of the people. If you want to take a break from listening at this point and go check out some before we continue, that's fine. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and keep trucking along, and I'm going to send you guys over to our next co-host. And on to our next co-host. I am super excited to have him here. It's been somebody that I've tried to integrate into my research a little bit. He brings the chaos to chaos magic. It's Octavian Graves.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to, finally get this opportunity to have an excuse, I guess, really, to work with you at all. So if you don't mind, just kind of, give a quick rundown who you are, what you do, things like that.
Well, my name is Octavian Graves. I am the creator and host of Strange Dominions podcast, paranormal researcher, cryptozoologist, occultist, magician, and musician.
Very exciting. I'm super glad to have you on board. We've had a lot of conversations outside of like shows, right?
We have, yeah.
Just where we just kind of get carried away in it. Because I think it's very valuable what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I want people to, I want to get more eyes on it for sure. because I think that it is important for us to kind of merge these worlds of magic and science together. And I feel you agree with that.
I do.
But you look at it through the magical scope, I guess, which is something that not enough people are doing, you know. So I think that that is super neat. And then how long have you had the your podcast for, Strange Dominions?
Well, we recorded our first episode in September of 2021, but it didn't become public until January of 2022. So, um, I guess over like almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had to take a couple months break just due to life, but we'll be coming back pretty strong in the next month or so.
Mhm.
So we'll be resuming our weekly show very quickly.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that some people don't quite understand what it takes to run a podcast.
Yeah,
You know? As fun as it is work, right? And
it
so, I
is.
mean, that is just part of it. But that's okay. It gives the listeners here plenty of time to catch up if they're not already listening to your show before you start dropping new episodes. So that is super heckin' cool. I think really neat. So besides doing magic with big feet and stuff, what else are you into?
Music. I went to school for video production, and I have a couple video projects and movies in the works. Um, I work at a vet office, so I'm very passionate about animals, something I greatly enjoy. And music. I've been doing music now my entire life. I've been playing in bands since I was 17. Got a few releases and projects on the way with various people that are in and out of the paranormal world. Notably, Timothy Renner and I have a project we're working on, as well as some solo stuff that I'm working on. So, yeah, I got a couple things going on for 2024, especially. 2023 has been kind of my lax year. It's where I kind of gather up my materials in preparation.
Man, I feel that so much. I think that's been like the zone for everybody right now, right? We're just kind
Yeah,
of doing our own thing at the moment. But man, I agree. I think 2024 is going to be amazing.
I
I guess I
agree.
shouldn't say it, right? Because then it can't, and I'm jinxing it, right? But I feel it. I feel like so much fun is going to happen.
Hmm.
Do you own any animals?
I have 6 cats.
Oh my God, Lord Jesus! What
Yeah,
what? I mean, how do you have time for anything else besides that?
I know. I know.
Wow, very, very cool. Is it cats because you're a cat man, or is it cats because you just haven't found a dog that you like yet?
I love dogs, and if I had the space and a large enough property to have the kind of dog that I want, then I would absolutely have one. But I don't, I just don't have the space. And cats are very compact, and they can
Yeah.
thrive in very small environments where the kind of dogs that I like just really can't.
Yeah, I love big dogs. That's like my thing. Like, but I
I do
have two
too.
cats. And well, first of all, my cats hate dogs, so they were here first, and so I'm going to let them live out their life in peace. But I've also lived in an apartment my entire adult life, and and I travel a lot, and so taking a dog with me, a big dog, places, I feel like would be difficult. So I've been like putting thought into it. Now that my cats are 13, I'm like, should I get a little dog? Is that what's next? A little dog,
Yeah,
and
the
then
best compromise that I've ever seen is a corgi because they are small, but they have big dog attitude and big dog thoughts and behavior. So they seem to scratch that itch for a lot of people. I think the next dog, I've had dogs my whole life until I turned 25. And then I had cats, but the next
Mhm.
dog I get will probably be a corgi.
That's well, I think, yeah, one of my best friends has a corgi, and she is, oh yeah, she definitely has that big dog energy. Her brother dog is a husky, and she
Oh
does
yeah.
not care one bit. So, then they got cat ears, so you're right. They probably do scratch that itch
Oh
for a lot
yeah.
of people. Very cool, very cool. No, I'm so excited to have you on. I think that you definitely bring a unique perspective. This is not a perspective that you guys are going to hear from the other co-hosts here. Um, not this well in depth anyway. I think I already bragged about you during one of the other intros with
Well,
somebody
thank you. I
else.
really appreciate that. And I'm really excited to be a part of this because I know it'll give me the opportunity to talk to people that I may not have the opportunity to in my show or in my dealings. Because as much as I try and branch out, we do have somewhat of a narrow focus on my show. And this is much
Right.
broader. So it'll allow me to kind of spread my wings in ways that I wouldn't be normally.
And I love that. I feel like that's a lot of us, including me. I mean, the reason why I'm doing all these other shows is so that way I can kind of, my Wednesday show, that's one of my jobs. Like I view that very much as a job. These shows, these other little shows here are more of a passion project. And I feel like it's going to be that way for a lot of us, and we can just kind of have a space where we can explore and have fun, and like you said, delve into topics that we wouldn't normally get into. So I think that that is really neat, and you might learn something along the way that might pertain to your own personal research, or network with somebody who you never knew that you needed.
Absolutely.
Um, and I think that that's really cool. That's also, I've said it, I think, in every single segment that you guys have heard here today, but I am especially excited for the group to get to know each other. And I think it is really neat that some of you, I think most of you don't know each other. And so I'm more than happy to be the hinge for all of you to to network amongst yourselves and become really good friends. So
Well, I'm always looking for more friends. So I'm
yeah.
very excited about that.
Yeah, and the weirder the better, right? I mean, that's
Hmm.
really important to people like us. But yeah, super neat. I do already, like, in my mind, I've already been like matching like you guys up with each other, like, oh, so and so is gonna really like so and so and whatever.
Well, good.
So
Yeah, that's preparation. I like that.
so it's very exciting. But as far as your presence here, people will be hearing your voice across all the shows. We've already heard you twice on the Wednesday show. So they should be, vaguely familiar with you as an individual. If they're not already, they should be. And, I'm excited. I already know what topics we're going to cover, and I think that they're really neat. And I definitely look forward to having you on further. So, just like with everybody else here, you guys, Octavian's information will be in the description below. Go listen to a show, go get to know him, before he takes over here, and you don't really have a choice anymore. So but thanks for coming on today, introducing yourself, and we will be talking to you more soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to be here.
All right, guys, on to our next co-host here. I'm super excited. This is a first timer for me on my show or recording in any type of capacity. She is a dedicated agent of chaos. Everybody, I've got Katie.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet y'all.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to work with you. I think
Oh.
that you're really cool and neat, and I think everybody else will think so too. So
Why, thank you. I'm a total nerd, but I'm super excited to be here. I'm very much into a lot of really weird stuff. So I think this is going to be a great fit.
yeah, you're in the right place. I'll tell you. We like that here. So what what kind of topics, what kind of things are you interested in this little weird part of the world?
So I'm super into monsters, mythical creatures. I love the idea of talking about like alien abductions. Let's talk lore. Let's talk about what's going on the internet. Like one of the big things I'm super excited about are internet mysteries.
Mhm.
I can't wait to talk more about those. And honestly, give me anything horror related and I'm at it like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, because that's how we connected, isn't it? Through the horror community.
Yes, we connected
Mhm.
through our mutant fam with Joe
Oh
Bob Briggs and the
yeah,
Last Drive-In.
I love that.
I got to meet Joe Bob in August. I was so
Oh my
excited.
gosh, that's super. He's so nice, isn't he?
He's so nice. Like,
So nice.
I dressed up as him.
That's awesome. I have a Joe Bob cosplay.
You do?
I do.
I love.
with bolo tie and everything.
Oh yeah, bolo tie. I went to Austin earlier this year and I found an original Skelly shirt,
Yeah.
like a nice rancher shirt. Oh my god. It's fantastic. And I've got this giant rhinestone belt buckle belt Perfect
That's
for like
amazing.
for a lady Joe Bob costume.
Yeah, I just found like I was at the thrift store one day. I happened to find this just, rancher style. It's like a red shirt with like, these big old spiky rhinestones on them. I was like, perfect.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's
be Joe Bob
incredible.
now. So then I got the bolo tie and the hat and I'm set, so
The only thing I need is a proper cowboy hat. That's it.
they are so hard to find. Let me tell you, they are difficult. And I suppose you can go online and get them, but I feel like you have to, with hats, you have to try them on.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
I mean, when you live in places like, well, I'm in Ohio, so we don't really have cowboy stores.
Listen, you're in Ohio, I'm in California. Everything is upcharged by like 95%.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true too. So I completely understand the struggle trying to find a proper. So I just have a super cheap. It's not the cheapest, but it's a pretty cheap cowboy hat, but it works.
Yeah, you use what you have on hand and then you make upgrades as you are able. That is how you cosplay.
Yeah, we did. So I used will host people at my house. They'll come over, and I'm already doing the mutant fam thing on Twitter anyway. So, I might as well invite people over and let them watch it with me. So one of the season premieres, we were doing, let's dress as horror host night, and so I did Joe Bob. I even bought Lone Star beer. I don't drink beer really. I'm a hard liquor girl, but I drink beer that night. And then one of my friends did the oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. This is so embarrassing. The guy from Mystery Science Theater 3000, like the human guy, Joel.
Yes.
And so that was fun. And then nobody else participated because I don't know, we're just losers. But it's fine. We had a great time. So it's perfect. Horror host night is what it was.
I would have been so excited. I would have dressed up as Darcy 100%.
I
Or
needed
Elvira.
I needed a Darcy or yes, at minimum Elvira, Svengoolie, you know.
Yeah, what
So
your friends dropped the ball.
I know I need new friends clearly, except for the one
Well,
that
that's
did
why I'm here.
participate. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So, or we could just I could just host like just dress as Joe Bob night, and all of us are Joe Bob.
Oh my gosh. He would probably love that.
I think he would. Yeah. I think you're right. But yeah, it was a good time. I used to try to dress up every drive-in Friday. That was something that I tried to do a lot with the themes because they do usually have a pretty good some theme going on. But I haven't been lately. I've been dropping the ball, but I have been busy here. So
Totally makes sense. What is your favorite theme night usually?
That's a good question. I think they're all kind of different. I think witch is easiest for me because it's just my regular clothes and a hat.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't have to put too much thought into it, but I still look fantastic. So,
Yes.
I think it just depends. So that's a good question. Do you have a favorite Joe Bob theme night?
I mean, Valpurgis Nacht is my favorite. I love
Yeah.
Valpurgis Nacht. Anything that I can do to get really drunk and have a bunch of fun, I'm down for it.
Yeah. Right. And then there's an excuse because it's a religious holiday, so you're celebrating.
Exactly.
Um,
I'm celebrating my religious holiday.
Right.
Really? What's your religious holiday? Valpurgis Nacht?
Well, Pokestop. Yeah. I'm just,
that?
So that's that's a good point. A good reason to drink and have fun. So no, I love that. I'll talk about during drive-in season, I will talk about, the last drive-in on the podcast, on the main podcast. I usually talk about both movies for a little bit and then get into the news or whatever. It's usually what my weekend segment is during that time. So but so clearly outside of the weird, you are a weirdo by nature. What other
Yeah.
kinds of things are you into?
So I'm a Ren Fair goer. I've been a participant at the Ren Fair since I was 8 years old, and I am no longer 8. That's for sure. I typically go to 4 to 5 different Renaissance fairs, Celtic games a year. I have a whole like storage area in my storage unit of costuming and accessories and all that. So like I like to dress my friends up. Everybody knows that on Halloween, if I don't have a costume, I'm in my Renaissance gown, because why the heck not? It's easy and I've
Right.
already got it and I don't have to spend money. Other than that, I'm super into professional wrestling. Uh, that's something else that I was super into as a kid. I kind of got out of it during my teen years because it wasn't quote unquote cool, and I wanted to try to fit in, and I didn't. I never fit in.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
no, it's a lot of fun to me. It's big meaty men slapping meat, getting beat up, and not only that, but you get these crazy storylines, and they're allowed to go a little bit more over the top because it's wrestling.
Right.
And I'm involved in my local indie wrestling scene. I'm actually a ring announcer, so I am the person that will introduce the wrestlers as they come out to the ring to fight, and it's a lot of fun. I'm really excited about being able to do that.
Very cool. That is really neat. I know we talked about wrestling for a minute. I don't remember you mentioning that you were involved.
Yeah, that's actually new. I started that in October. I
Oh,
announced
okay.
my no, September. I started it in September, and I had my first full show that I ring announced in September. Then this month I ring announced two different shows, one of which was absolutely insane. There were so many storylines that got tied together and then, neatly packaged in a little bow, but then got sent out into chaos. So we've got lots of different ways we can go next year because it was their last show for this year. Insane.
Very cool. So do you get to help curate the storylines?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want me helping to curate the storylines. I'd be kind of out there.
You're like, oh, he's got him in a headlock and now they're making out with each other.
Yes.
I understand. No, that is really neat though. I don't think I've ever. I mean, we do have a pretty decent wrestling scene here, um,
Well, you're
and
in
they're all
Ohio. You've
characters.
got Ohio Valley Wrestling, which
Yeah,
is incredible.
yeah.
That's honestly where WWE pulls a lot of new talent from, or at least they used to. I'm not sure if
Oh,
they still do that, but if I'm not mistaken, Jim Cornette is the one who does a lot of work with Ohio Valley Wrestling, and he actually has a podcast as well. If you ever want to listen to like the wrestling interviews and his takes on different things that are going on in the professional wrestling world and news about wrestling, like he's the one to go to.
man, that's awesome. So what's amazing is that there are three of you, three women. Okay, three women that have joined as co-hosts. And two of the three women, you both are really into wrestling. I love that.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to meet these other women.
Yes. It's yeah, no, I think it's really wholesome. We've already heard Kenzie talk earlier, which you guys most listeners are familiar with her anyway, but yeah, she's also really into wrestling. So I love that. I think it's great. And then none of the guys so far have mentioned wrestling at all.
Mm, that's because
So,
that's because we as women, we're not afraid to talk about what we're truly interested in.
right.
At this point, most of us we're all adults. We're at the point where we're just like, no, we're gonna just enjoy what we enjoy, wear what we want to wear, do what we want to do, and forget whoever else thinks it's not cool, because at this point, none of us care.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We I think we definitely have, as women, have an added pressure to be a certain way our entire lives. And a lot of us are in the same age group, and we have grown up to understand that we've kind of grown up during this like second revolution, right, of women doing whatever the fuck they want. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. Um, so I think that's really neat. I'm excited to talk to the other co-hosts and see if any of them mention wrestling, besides the women. So
Yeah, we're gonna have to start our own hashtag
A little.
with, you know, weird wrestling women or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
she does the yeah, she'll do a lot of the like the Twitter stuff when it comes to the AEW stuff. She, posts on that. She said it. She puts her hot takes, and they're very hot takes on wrestling online. So you have
I
to
do
follow
this
each other.
I do the same thing with WWE. I'm also a huge AEW fan. In fact, they're coming to my hometown this week, and I'm super excited about that.
Are you going?
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay. All
All
right.
depends. I'm waiting for dominoes to fall.
Yeah, I understand. That is so costuming and folklore and horror and wrestling. Anything else you want to add to the roster there, or
Oh my gosh. Yeah, actually, I'm a huge board game nut. My hashtag horror husband and I, we are big board gamers and miniatures players and D&D nerds. We do all sorts of tabletop games. We go to Gen Con in Indianapolis every year. We do a lot of the local game conventions here in California. We're just very into social gaming. Um, and to give you an idea, like, I'm not talking about shoots and ladders and Monopoly. Like, I just recently played a game called Twilight Imperium for the first time, and that's where you are an ancient alien race and everybody else around you is different ancient alien races, and you've got this conglomerate of planets that are revolving around one particular planet which has not had leadership for thousands of years, and you have to try to be the first person to get to that planet, and then you start creating orders and laws that will govern all of the other planets. So it's like having a senate. You want to be the first person
wow.
to be this leader of the Senate, and it is so involved, and there's so much lore and so many different things that you can do. It takes a good game of it takes at least 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, I know. Well, and you're not the only one who's brought tabletop gaming up as a hobby so far. So I'm excited for you guys all to meet each other. It's fun to do this while most of you don't know each other right now.
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
Because there are definitely others that are into this. And one thing about Pato when he was on the show, that was one of his big hobbies, and it's just something I really don't know anything about. I just haven't done it. And a lot of people pioneered. They're like, you should do it. You should do it. One thing we've talked about doing potentially was hosting like a virtual game night. At some point. So I mean, with all of you nerds on here with your tabletop gaming.
Guys, we're such nerds.
I'm sure, if hey, listen, if you guys want to put together a game under the On Wednesdays We Talk Weird umbrella, I'm here for it. I think the fans would fucking love it.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I'm
We're
totally
so
down to
into
role
it.
play and create like characters and all of that. I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Yeah, they love that. I mean, it's so neat that these topics there's a lot of layover between people that are interested in this show and people that are into kind of consistently the same things across the board. So I think that's really fun because it's just a lot of bonding opportunities, and I love that. I don't know.
I like making new friends.
Yes. Gosh, I've been so corny this entire episode for the for the listeners because I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait for you guys to meet each other and be friends. I love this. That's my favorite part of the whole shindig. Yes, I love the weird. I love the weird story too. Yes, I want to solve a mystery one day, but I love the people. Like that is my favorite part.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, that's the best thing about this community is there's so much overlap with different hobbies that you end up making friends that you're going to have for life,
right.
and that's one of the great aspects of what we have in this community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we were all the weird kid, and now we can be the weird kid together. So,
Yay!
that's my
And
favorite part.
being weird isn't taboo anymore, which is
No.
so nice.
No, it's fantastic that it is now becoming okay to just be who you are. And regardless of what that looks like, and so I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. So
You
it
can't see it,
is
but I'm like dancing in my chair right now.
I know it's super great. So I'm excited. I'm super excited to have you on. I already know what we're going to kind of talk about, and I think that the listeners are going to absolutely love it.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Our
Just
first
like
couple episodes are going to be insane.
yeah, they will be. It'll be tons of fun. Tons of fun. It's me kind of being able to step out of my wheelhouse a little bit as well and learn things that I wouldn't traditionally learn unless it were a passion project. And that's kind of more what this is. It's not just my job anymore. I get to go back to enjoying it. Not that I hated doing it, but it's work. And so
Yeah.
this is my opportunity to also play, and I think that that's really exciting. And I'm hearing that for a lot of people. This is kind of our Pee Wee's Playhouse, I guess, of the of the community. So I think it's
Oh my-
great. But for everybody else, you guys already know. I've already said it with all the other people. If you want to start following Katie on her different social media platforms, it's all down in the description. Take your break, go follow everybody thus far, get to know these people, and you guys will be hearing more from Katie in the very near future. And rolling right into our next co-host for you guys, it's the only Kevin I know. It's Kevin. Kevin, how are you?
Yay. Doing all right. Yay, me.
You're the only one I know. I was thinking about that because you have I'm sure you're not the only Kevin you've ever met. You have a pretty regular person name.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand because my name's Ashley, so I have a
Yeah.
pretty regular person name too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know any other Ashleys right now, so I was like, do I know any other Kevins? What can I compare him to? And I guess it turns out you're incomparable. So good for you. Good for you.
Not the first time I've ever heard that before, so thank you.
So it's a trend for you. Well, that's
Mhm.
fantastic. So Kevin, you're kind of new to this weirdness, so to
Mhm.
speak, I guess is
Mhm.
the best way to put it. But you apply, of course you applied for the position. However, I became familiar with you because of all the talking you've been doing on the Singular Fortean Discord. Um, and the accolades that you received before I think they moderated you over there. Is that what you're your mod? I don't know how
Yeah,
Discord works.
something like that. Yeah.
And they were like, hey, that Kevin guy seems to be, he seems to jive with us. Let's mod him. And so if the Waylands like you, then I like you too.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of the way it works. But how did you kind of get started in all of this topic of interest?
Pretty much how most people have started. Growing up, I started watching like what was the show Ghost Hunters back in like early 2000s, and so I thought that was interesting. First time I ever heard of cryptids was actually in fourth grade when we were able to do basically a school project, and I chose the Loch Ness Monster. So that was rather interesting. Then it was just kind of like a spiral downhill. In college, I did a ghost hunting group, one of the largest ones in the country. So that was cool. Fell off a little bit because life happens. And then this year, kind of set a personal goal of to go squatching at least once. And so that happened. And then it was a rapid snowball of events after that. So
Now you're just stuck in it.
pretty much, yeah.
I feel like that happens for a lot of us. I had a very similar kind of, fell off track with everything and then got back on. Um, I must feel like, and I'm a very scientifically minded, very science based person, but I almost feel like it's kind of out of your control. Like you don't really have a choice. You're going to be a part of this weird life.
Yeah.
Somehow it always finds a way to leading you back to it. It's just kind of, I don't want to say divinely guided because that makes it sound like I believe in something. I don't. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's a weird world, I'll tell you. So very neat. What area are you based out of? You live in like I don't remember where you live.
I'm up in Erie, PA currently,
That's right.
about 5 minutes from the lake. So
That's right, because we met each other at the Erie thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's right. Yes, which is a great area to have, for high strangeness.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The lake is just fucking odd. It is a hotbed for mysterious lights, odd creatures. You guys have your own little lake monster there.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them actually. You have two of them, as far as
Yeah,
I know, maybe more.
I know of
Um,
Bessie, but that's
yeah,
about it.
yeah. You have Bessie, and then there's like a humanoid. There's like almost like a creature from the Black Lagoon type of thing. That people were seeing for a while. And then actually, one of the sightings that I had received from Tobias Wayland was a mermaid sighting at Lake Erie. On the Ohio side of Lake Erie, but still mermaid sighting. Interesting.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Very unusual. Not that I think that the lake is filled with mermaids. I don't. But
Mm.
I believe that they saw something, whatever
Yeah.
that may be. So it's just it is a very strange area. I feel like the lights are probably the most reported incident that I hear about coming from the lake on the Ohio side. Anyway, we have that in common as Lake Erie is my point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with your demographic, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But you do other things too. So you do Twitch streaming. Do you still do Twitch streaming, or is that something you've kind of gotten away from?
Well, ever since I started doing a full-time job, you kind of lose time
Yeah.
doing extracurricular things because it's either you have a lot of time on your hands and no money, or more money and no time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do that every now and then, maybe once or twice a month, if that. But you know, busyness, so not as often as I would like.
Yeah, I understand. What kinds of things do you play?
Um, let's see, mostly like Arc Survival Evolved, Overwatch, any game that has a building and crafting mechanics to it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because it allows me to like use my imagination and like just build random stuff.
Yeah. Is that typically what you play leisurely?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Very
Because it's one of those things where you could spend 15, 20 minutes to on and then kind of like get away from because you have work and then dive back into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know that I've gone on rants on the Wednesday show before just about cutscenes and how much so a lot of these games nowadays it's like you're just watching it, not necessarily playing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So I understand as an avid gamer myself. Sometimes I don't just have a 3 hour chunk of time I can dedicate to a game.
mm-hmm,
So casual gaming is a lot easier, and it's just the scratch.
mm-hmm.
So I totally get it. I think that's neat. But you started what, Twitch streaming during the pandemic?
No, actually, back in 2015, roughly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
about 2015. Yeah.
it's been a while. Well, very
Mhm.
cool. Very cool. And then you also you're a physical type of person, right? You were telling me earlier you have some competition coming up in April?
Oh yeah, so um, I'm all about having stories by the time I'm the age of 50. So
Okay.
I decided, you know what will be a fun story to tell when I'm 50. Oh hey, I did strongman for a couple years. So I've been slowly trying to train to be a quote unquote strongman, and I decided that April would be a good event because they have a fire truck pull during the competition that month.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, if I'm gonna do anything as a first competition, might as well have that be in it because that's a freaking awesome story to tell in 20, 30 years when I'm in a wheelchair. So
That's true. I mean, how many people at that age can say that they've pulled a fire truck?
yeah, exactly.
Not me. I won't be one of those people, but
Well, you never know.
I guess that's a good point. I guess I could start today.
Mhm.
If I really wanted to. So is this the first time you're entering one of those competitions?
Yeah. I've never actually only thing close would be when I played soccer growing up or rugby in college, but still, like that's not the same thing as like a only on you type of thing,
Right.
where everything else was like a team effort. Whereas with this, it's like oh, hey, if I fail, it's on me because I didn't prep enough or I wasn't feeling it or something like that. So this is the first time the spotlight's been on me individually, if that makes sense.
Wow, very
So,
cool. Well, then it sounds like we have to really get you out there so that way when April comes, you have a whole group of fans and other co-hosts cheering you on. We're really going to put the pressure on you. So,
oh boy.
so you better pull that damn fire truck or we're going to be disappointed. um, no, really, though. Well, hey, I'm not that far. So I'm just saying, don't threaten me with a good time, damn it. Um,
It's actually in Ohio, so.
oh, really?
hmm
Wow, even better. Well,
hmm
I know where that is, Ohio. Heard of it before. So,
Go figure. I wonder why.
we can make this happen. I'm
hmm
just telling you.
hmm
Um, very cool. What else do you do in your free time besides work and pull trucks and study weird things?
Great. I'm gonna be known as the guy that pulls trucks now.
Yeah.
Uh, could be worse things. Um, yeah. Than that, I just look up weird things or watch YouTube videos. I'm actually quite a boring individual if you think about it, because I work retail, so when I'm not there, I'm too tired to do pretty much anything else. So,
Yeah, you're about to within the next couple weeks, your life's about to get hellish. I feel bad for you.
oh, it has already started.
Oh God, I know I don't miss it, but I sympathize. I don't sympathize. I empathize. I get it.
Yeah,
It sucks. It's a lot.
it
So
pays the bills.
it
So,
does. It does pay the bills, and that's what matters.
mhm,
At the end of the day, but you just kind of grin and bear it during the holiday
yeah.
season, right?
hmm
Nothing sucks the Christmas cheer out of you more than retail.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, freaking Mariah Carey.
oh no,
She's coming
right?
out for slumber pretty soon.
Oh gosh,
They're gonna
yeah,
break
she
her out
is.
of the iceberg.
Like in Mariah Carey, or ruining Christmas for everybody.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
some people actually like that song, and I'm like, why? I don't.
Really?
They do. They
Really?
do. I
Like,
now see. I don't hate Christmas music. I love Christmas music. I do. I am a sucker for that shit. Give me some Bing Crosby. I love it. Right. Give me with my hot chocolate and my footy pajamas. But I hate that damn Mariah Carey song.
my biggest thing about Christmas music is it's the same 5 songs
It
redone
is.
20 different times. And like the only song I can actually kind of listen to is The Grinch because it's the one I relate to the most. Um, but other than that, I'm fine without listening to Christmas music at all.
I think my weird ADHD brain makes it something it isn't. So like the Grinch, like when I think about the Grinch and the song, I'm like, well, no wonder that guy was so pissed off. Like, listen to the insults dude is hurling at him. Like, it's so rude. Like, yeah, I'd be angry too if somebody said that I smelled like a
Onion or
anything. Right? I'm a terrible person. Like, oh great.
maybe that whole movie could have been avoided by just giving him a hug. Like,
Right. I
just
know.
saying, maybe you just need a hug.
I
And
mean,
then, yeah,
all it took was the Who's singing, and his heart grew, and it's like that's not a lot of effort, you guys. Like he could have done better. So I think the Jim Carrey one kind of tried to do that a little bit more, but we
yeah.
act like that doesn't exist in my world anyway. So
They actually turned The Grinch into a horror movie, which
I saw
I had
that,
to
but
see.
didn't see the
Yeah.
movie. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably watch it. I'll be honest with you. I watched the
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh horror movie, and
How bad was it?
I mean, it's not good. It's not good at all. But I'm not sad that I watched it. It wasn't a
Yeah.
complete waste of time. I knew going into it that it wasn't going to be good, and I think that that's really important. So when I watch the Grinch horror movie, I know it's not going to be good.
Mhm.
The bar is already low. So if they do happen to impress me at all, then that's hey,
It's
they're
a,
doing all right.
yeah.
So anyway, well, I'm super excited to, get people, let people know who you are and get to know you a little bit over the course of these upcoming episodes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm happy that you are deciding to take the initiative and get into the world of content creation in the weird. It is You're going to meet lots of weird people. I promise.
I feel like I already know a few weird people, but hey.
Hopefully, I hope in the first year you get your fantastic. I'll never forget this story that you that you tend to get from people. It does happen. So we'll see how it goes. No, I think it'll be just fine. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it. And like I said, I'm super glad that you've decided to come on board. So
Well, thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and roll you into the next guest. So, a bunch of times during this episode, I have continuously said that I'm going to roll you guys into the next guest, and I haven't really thought of a better adjective than that. So, we're going to roll you right into the next, not guest, but rather co host, who actually really needs no introduction from me. Why don't you go ahead and tell the audience who you are?
Hello, I am Zuul.
Zuul. Okay, just Zuul?
Only Zuul. Yes.
Only Zuul. I love it. I'm
All
so
of my
excited.
social media platforms begin with Only Zuul. And so, yes, if you're a Ghostbusters fan, you follow why it would be Only Zuul. There is no last name, Only Zuul.
My favorite part of Ghostbusters is when Dan Aykroyd gets his dick sucked by the ghost.
It would be your favorite part.
I know, right? Just putting it in case anybody was wondering. That's pretty crazy, man. Is that necrophilia? Is it sexual assaults? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are there, but
good question. We'll have to delve into that when we if we ever do a show where we break down those fictional monsters from movies. Then we can really get into what happens when you have sex with the fictional monster.
I mean, on a similar note, for the upcoming Experiencer show, I would love to talk to somebody who has sex regularly with ghosts. Like, that would be fucking awesome.
Fabulous. Yeah, that would be interesting.
I would really legitimately love to hear from those people. But anyway, so Zuul, you are a very interesting person. I'll tell you. I think that you're a gold mine of fun information and great energy, and you blew me away when we did the interview.
Well, thank you.
So, here you are, joining my little weird family. So, what got you into the weird? How did you become as strange as you are?
Oh, I was born weird. We'll probably get into more of what that all entails in time. But Zuul was born at a Blockbuster Video. I worked at Blockbuster Video in Madison, Ohio. Hey, shout out. And it's of course dead now, among the atrocities of the Blockbuster
streaming
fallout. Yes, yes. But what had happened was I'm working at Blockbuster Video as a shift manager. Loved the job, and we had this district manager there toward the end who kept calling me Dana. That's not my name. And I said, there is no Dana, only Zuul, the line from the movie. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry, Zuul. I misunderstood you. And she kept calling me Zuul for the rest of the conversation. Then I got a paycheck for Zuul. She changed my name in the system to Zuul. And it was actually legitimately Zuul. For a little while, I had to go through some trouble with HR to get my name changed back to my real name.
Oh my gosh.
And after that, it just stuck. I would answer the phone there. Hey, thanks for calling Blockbuster. This is Zuul. How can I help you? My name badge said Zuul, and it just stuck. It's a great name. So, only Zuul. There it is. That's where Zuul was born weird. And she actually received a paycheck, albeit a small one, from Blockbuster Video. You don't make a lot of money there, but it was one of the greatest jobs I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I sympathize with that. It's funny how we have some similarities, because I didn't work at Blockbuster, but I did work for the movie theater. And a big similarity that we have, we're both from Ohio, you guys. I have another Ohio in here, finally.
Now, I will tell you, I'm originally from Nebraska.
Well, fuck
Originally
Nebraska.
From Nebraska. There's nothing there but corn and cows and like 10 people. Hi to all 10 people in Nebraska.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have corn and cows, but we also have we have a good art community. We have a lot of weird.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of weird in Ohio. It's just full of it. I'll have to tell you the story sometime about how I came to live in Ohio. It was all in thanks to the Fairport Police Department. I was here for less than 24 hours, and they decided I should stay. So that's how I became an Ohioan. Also a weird story. But Ohio drew me here and kept me here for a reason. This is where I belong. It's the most belong I've ever felt, and it's because it's just full of weird. You guys are a weird state, full of weird.
Weird and proud. We are. We're not as weird as West Virginia, but we're getting there. So it's
different kind of weird, though.
Different kind of weird, yeah. Definitely a different flavor of weird. But it's fine. How long have you been in Ohio for?
I've been in Ohio for 23 years.
Oh, okay. So your citizenship is old enough to drink. You're an Ohioan now.
Yes, I've been in Ohio for as long as I had. It's actually now it's been more than half of my lifetime. So that I'm officially an Ohioan more than I am a Nebraskan. It's not where you grew your roots; it's where you planted your seeds.
Yeah, absolutely. So what, I mean, besides being into these very strange and unusual topics, what else do you do?
I am a horror model. So I do like gore with, there's a magazine called Gorgeous Girls. I sometimes feature in there. I like to do cosplay. I am a licensed registered nurse, although I am retired. And I do some acting. I've done a couple of brief roles just this year. Broke into acting this year. I'm going to be in a movie called Meat.
Ooh.
The movie, like MEAT, like the food.
Like the food, sure.
It's going to be a really great horror movie. I don't want to spoil it. But
it sounds sexy. I mean, I'll be honest.
It is incredibly sexy. It's a LGBTQ themed horror movie.
Oh, okay.
It's very unique. So absolutely, when that comes out, everybody should go watch that.
Oh yeah, we'll plug it away here. So
awesome. And then I was in a couple of music videos too, for a band called Two Forks and a band called the Cult of Crowley. The Two Forks video is out on YouTube, but the Cult of Crowley video is still in filming. So just breaking into some new fields of entertainment that I haven't done before. I've always been fascinated by it. So that's why I worked in a movie store. I've always been fascinated by Hollywood acting. I remember being a child and getting up on the little concrete slab in our yard and performing for neighborhood friends and stuff. So, it's always been something I really enjoy doing. So trying something new, doing this podcast, because I've never done a podcast before. This is the first time, so go gentle.
We're going to give you all the hard topics, all the hard stuff.
That's fun, though. That's fun. I want to talk about stuff that's not been talked about.
Sure. Yeah, and you've already, I mean, I'm not going to spoil the topics quite yet, but you've already brought some really good topics up. And, I will say that even though I've had some layover, because with all you guys have chosen your own topics, and the first topic anyway, and I've had some layover with other topics. I've had a couple of people be like, well, I want to do Bigfoot. I want to do, I want to do this. Nobody's mentioned your topics yet. And so, I'm
extra weird.
Very
I
unique
like to
perspective.
Go out on the fringe of weird and seek what's even weirder than weird.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite. I understand. That's me. I know all these fucking just way out there encounter stories that I'll just randomly pull out of my ass because it's so weird that it has to be true. And so I understand. That's
the the fringe weird.
Like,
yeah,
I like Grays, but I'd rather talk about like the Vegetable Man instead because that's
yeah,
fucking insane.
absolutely.
You know,
We were talking
so
about things like the internet mysteries, those dark web in mysteries. Those are going to be fascinating. That's the stuff that's out there on the fringes of society.
right.
That's going to be some interesting stuff. So lots of interesting things we've talked about that I'm excited to get out there and broadcast and throw out to the wind and see what other people think. And
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's a great place to also plug away whatever else it is you're working at, you're working on or working at or whatever. I'm excited to hear about your other upcoming projects.
I just wrapped up with Nightmare Cleveland Haunted House. We ended our second year of haunt season. This year we had doubled the size of the haunted attraction. It is a very unique haunted house. It's themed. It's like a movie-like experience. You walk in the front, and it's very clean and neat. And then things get, things go wrong.
Things go wrong,
Things
yes.
go wrong. It's like an hour-long attraction. We had touch passes this season. Those were really fun.
Neat.
Yeah, it was it's a very intense experience. Even to work there is really intense. Because it's very loud, it's industrial, it's but it was very, very fun. We had a great second season, great cast, great management, just everything about it has been wonderful. One of the most professional places I've ever worked for in the haunt industry. So can't say enough good stuff about what I just wrapped up with. So I'm excited to get started on this project with you with the podcast, because I don't want to fall into post-haunt season blues, which happens to us haunters. We don't know what to do with ourselves after that.
Yeah, I completely understand. Especially during, wintertime in Ohio sucks. So there's that too.
This will be a great way to avoid the wintertime blues is to look forward to at least once a week talking about something weird and, doing research during the week to bring something weird to the table every week.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that we've connected in a way. And I think that we should plan an outing kind of soon because you're so close. I mean, well, you're kind of far, but you're still close enough. You're closer than some of these other people. So
awesome. Yes, absolutely. That would be fun. We could go do something and meet up in person and actually get outside in sunlight. When we have it.
Right. We can just be weird together. It'll be nice.
It'll be fun.
It'll be a great time. Well, again, I'm super excited for having you, come onto the project. I'm excited for everybody to hear your perspective on things and what you bring to the table. I think that it's very valuable. And I think it's going to be a really great time. So I will post, just like everybody else I've mentioned, I'll post whatever social links that you would like out there in the description if you guys want to stop and go check out Zuul before we move on into the next guest. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do that now.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
All right, guys. And last, but certainly not least, I do have your next co-host here. I am super excited. This guy, let me tell you about this guy. I don't think he understands the rumor mill that was going around, but I was actually on his show in the past. We did a 4-part episode on Indrid Cold, and he blew me away. Anyway, everybody, it's Jeremy from Infinite Rabbit Hole.
It is I, Jeremy from the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Yes,
it is you. Like I was saying, somebody had sent me a screenshot from a group chat back in the early days of the Infinite Rabbit Hole, back when I came on. And they were just showcasing how they were all talking about, they're like, oh, did you know that they got Ashers on their show for 10 hours? I thought that was awesome.
Very true. Out of all the topics that we've covered, I don't think many of them hold a candle to that series. I've had a lot of really good feedback, including from Tanya herself.
Yeah.
And I was actually blessed to have her come on the show for a part 5, which was amazing. Thanks to you, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I believe you're the last interview she ever did.
Wow.
So that's historical, really. I mean, that's a historical episode.
Yeah.
having her on for that interview. But yeah, that was intense. And, and I come on and I'm used to coming on for these things. People are like, hey, you want to talk about this topic? I'm like, yeah, and I didn't have to do anything.
Well, that's how we do it. I do all the research and then you come on and you just fill in all the holes.
Well, I appreciate that. It was definitely a different flavor. Stuck out to me, solidified your show, in my mind. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I really don't. Mostly because I find it very frustrating because I can't trust the information that's being delivered. And I don't have that problem with your show. So I think that's awesome.
Good.
Yeah. And then Oh, go ahead.
The amount of research that goes into the infinite rabbit hole, and of course the stuff that I will bring to this show as well, is incredible. And it really does mean a lot to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's people notice, just know that people that I think matter notice, of course you got the fans and they don't really notice. They just want the cool story. But the people that research it, yeah, we recognize real as the kids used to say in the 90s, I think.
Gosh, I feel old. I used to say that in the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember the 90s? Back in the day. So go ahead and, instead of me, bragging about you here, why don't you just give the audience a quick rundown of like who you are, what you do, in case they already missed the message.
Who I am and what I do. Well, my name is Jeremy. I am in my mid 30s. Let's see, I am 2 years removed from active duty in the Navy, although I really wish I was still in. I miss it very much.
Oh.
But I'm happy to be able to put more time into the stuff that I really love. The stuff that I really love is the world of the strange, the unknown, the spooky monsters, urban legends, cryptids, ghosts, everything. I just love it all. I'm not a field researcher. That's something that a lot of people ask me, through emails or through DMs. They'll ask me about my field research. I don't do it. I wish I did. I wish I had the time to set aside to be able to go out and do some cool stuff. There's plans in the future, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just like everybody else that listens to these kinds of shows. I'm a fan. And that's what I bring to the table when I bring my research. I bring a research that somebody else that's listening to your show could potentially do or will do, right? They're coming to your show to find out the information. So when I have somebody come to my show, I bring that information. I do 90% of my research directly from books. I don't do a lot through documentaries or through the internet. I'll use documentaries in the internet to fill the holes. But just use the Injured Cold series, for example. Every single piece of information that I got came directly from Woody Derenberger, straight from his book. And then I was able to fill in a lot of the holes through Tanya's book. And then any other gaps I got directly from John Keel through the Mothman Prophecies. And then I had you on to fill anything else. You were the water in the jar of sand, if you will.
Oh, I was the water. Great.
Yeah. You filled in all the gaps. So not only do I pride myself in really digging into that research, but I also really like to match informative guests, right? So you were the perfect fit for that. And when it happens, when Mothman happens, you'll be back.
Oh, and I will. Yeah. Even if it takes 10 hours, it might take 20. We'll see.
it might. And I have a really interesting theory about Mothman, and I'm actually kind of dying to put it out there for you. But I'm just not ready yet.
Don't come on my show and tease me like
I
that. That's
want
rude.
to. Okay. Well, can we talk for a second about it?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Just a quick second. Hey, just to give everybody a little bit of idea of
tease everybody else too. If I got to suffer through it,
just how I think. So right now I'm doing a research project on aliens, owls, and UFOs. Right, and kind of the idea that aliens, specifically the Greys, are using owls as screen memories in order to mask themselves from the human mind. It's a very, very famous concept, but especially around like the alien abduction circles. But it's not a very known concept outside of that circle. You see it touched on here and there when it comes to Hollywood. Like I think the first movie anybody thinks about when they think about owls and aliens is The Fourth Kind. You've seen it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually where my interest first popped up, was, way back in the day. It feels like it was in the 90s. But it wasn't. I know. Back in the day, I looked it up, and sure enough, that is something that is well known within the circles of alien abduction victims. And because I can't take this as my own thoughts. I actually got this from reading a book by a Mike Cleland called The Messengers. Very, very good book. And I don't know if this is exactly how he was trying to portray this, but he did a section on the Mothman. Okay. And if you look at the owl, and particularly I believe it was the barn owl, it has a very gray alien-esque shaped face.
Sure, yeah.
It's got those deep, dark black eyes with the very subtle lines, white, oval shaped. Looks very gray alien-like. And it is a belief, well, to a lot of people who do this study, such as Mike Cleland, that they use this image because of the likeness to them. So I got to thinking, why does it really have to be a white or gray owl every single time? What if some gray alien out there wanted to be a black owl with red eyes? Could the Mothman be a gray alien?
Interesting.
If you look at, well, I'll have to save the research for you, but
Sure.
but if you look at a lot of the accounts of owls and alien abduction victims, there are a lot of parallels to the sightings and the major events that follow the Mothman. It's interesting. If you look at owls, one thing that you'll notice, it looks like they don't have a neck. Mothman, right. one of the primary descriptions of Mothman is the lack of a neck, or the head being, directly built off of the shoulders.
Right.
So it's an interesting idea that I'm exploring, and actually, I would love to just kind of pick your brain a little bit. What do you think?
So owls, what's interesting about owls and our history culturally with them is that they have a lot of ancient culture that's tied in directly to paranormal topics.
Oh yeah.
The first thing that immediately comes to mind for me is Native American lore in the Wendigo. One of the signs of a Wendigo approaching is that they would suddenly start seeing an owl in their little area.
Yes. Yep.
And that's just one of, again, many ties in to owls in general. Like I said, they're very rich in culture, and especially culture when it comes to paranormal topics. And then on top of that, you've also got, here's something that people don't know. I guarantee you people don't know this. Some people probably do. People like me do. There are a lot of Mothman sightings where Mothman is, guess what, gray or white.
Oh yeah.
He's light colored. He's not always black. Sure, sometimes he's brown too. That is a possibility. But, if these things are looking at us through a cultural type of scope, and they are not just looking at barn owls, maybe they're looking at all the owls. And I will encourage the listeners to go and go look at pictures of the Stygian owl. Stygian, Stygian, the Stygian owl. And guess what they have? They have these really bright, beaming red eyes.
They do.
And they're very interesting. And also their babies look straight up like chicken nuggets, and it's fucking adorable. But Look up Stygian owl babies.
I'm doing it right now.
They're very cute. So if they have tapped into this and saw similarities to one type of owl, I'm sure they have something akin to Google, right? They could look up owls and see the different types, which potentially could account for the discrepancies in color when it comes to these Mothman sightings if they are trying to make it look like something we're familiar with, but then they're also just bad at it. Which is why they end up with a 7-foot tall creature that looks half human, half animal-ish.
Yes.
Which we see, and like I refer it to like it's very Men in Black-esque, because like the Men in Black are just fucking terrible at pretending to be humans. Like they're really bad at it, and we see that a lot. I just did it. We just talked about this in the episode that I just did last week with Ron and Joe from Wild Weird West Virginia. We talk about how we see this phenomena happening where they're trying to copy something that is known to us already, but then they just fuck it up somehow. And that could just be because it's the same as like if you try to take on another language that you weren't born into. You'll get a lot of incorrect nuances in your speech because you aren't really familiar with the speech patterns. So you may be speaking phonetically, and even though it's technically correct, it's still not really correct. It's just off. So maybe. I think it goes in line with my own personal beliefs of what the Mothman could be. I don't think that there is an actual creature that lives on this planet that looks like that. I think it presents itself to us in that way. But the why and the what of the specifics of those details, I don't have the answer to. So I'm interested to hear the research behind what you found. And I know it's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be phenomenal.
Did you see those Stygian owl babies?
I did. They look like little furry nuggets with feet and eyes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this one particular one. It's in profile, and it just looks like a nugget with legs.
They look like little chicken nuggets. I think that's where they got the shape from, with chicken nuggets. I don't.
It's like it looks delicious. That the little owl. The little owl looks absolutely delicious. We should make nuggets out of that.
I could dip it in buffalo and ranch and have a great time. Yeah, it's
We're gonna make millions.
But yeah, so I think that's I'm excited. I can't wait to do the Mothman. I know that you have kind of I don't know how much you want to share on it. You've kind of stepped away from your own show for a moment, right? But clearly it's coming back.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm a human being. I get tired.
You are? Wow.
Yeah, I am.
I thought I was hiring somebody else. I don't know about this.
No, I'm sorry, but so things have been getting a little tough. Juggling co-hosts is a very difficult task, and I applaud you for taking on so many.
Thank you.
I'm just happy I'm not on that side of things. I'm happy I'm just one of the rotational people.
Sure.
You have bit off a chunk, let me tell you.
I'm insane. I don't know what happened. It just happened one day.
Someone has to do it. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. But yeah, so mostly just kind of taking a step back for the holiday season. I'll get everything back going. We're gonna go to a seasonal format instead of just putting one out every week. May go to every other weekend. Where we're going to drop an episode, something a little bit softer, something a little easier.
Yeah.
I'm excited about doing this show. I want to spread out a little bit. I want people to get to know me. I want to get to know people. So I'm going to try to divide my time evenly as much as I can. Before things get too hard, I actually just wrecked my truck on Halloween. Oh. That was great. That sucked actually, but things are coming around, and one thing that you'll learn from me, if you're listening to the show, or if you ever take a chance to go listen to the Infinite Rabbit Hole, one thing that's very important to me, other than the world of the unknown, spooky and strange, is mental health, and that's extremely important to myself. I was medically separated from the military for mental health reasons. and I have to watch it. So when I start feeling myself getting stressed, it's time to step away, slow down, reassess, and reattack. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. But everything's starting to look up. I'm excited.
Good for you for being able to do that, though. That's incredibly difficult to take a step back and go, hey, I need to reel this in a little bit. I think that's probably the hardest thing to do when it comes to I was just telling somebody today that I am in a cycle where I work my ass off and then I burn out, and then I have to work my ass off catching up from when I was burnt out. So I am trying to, personally, I'm getting on a schedule myself and getting my shit together, but it's hard to do. It really is.
Yeah.
Taking control of your own life. So, I mean, outside of the weird, outside of, co-hosting shows, people have plenty of time to catch up on Infinite Rabbit Hole, because if they're not listening to it already, they should be. And they've got time to do that right now while you're in between seasons. What else do you do? What else are you into?
Parenting. I'm a father of 4, so I have a lot to do.
Yeah, you have a whole farm of children.
If I'm not parenting, army. That's one of the hardest things about buying a car, is finding one with enough seats for everybody's ass.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly a really boring person. If I'm not doing the dad thing, I usually have a book in my hand. And then on the outside, I wouldn't say outside. I actually really enjoy it. I play video games, but I only play one game. I play Ark. I don't know if you ever heard of it. But I absolutely, and I'm obsessed with that game. I've been playing it for damn near 6 years now.
So it's like one of those types of games.
Oh yeah.
I'm totally not judging you at all. I know it sounded that it's one of those games. No, it's
oh yeah. Oh, it's definitely one of those games that you just dump your whole life into. And actually, fun fact, that's actually where the Infinite Rabbit Hole began. The Infinite Rabbit Hole has a bunch of origins that all kind of came together and tied into the Infinite Rabbit Hole. And me and my main co-host Jake, we actually discussed doing the show, came up with the idea of the show while playing the game.
Very cool. Very cool. I like Jake. He's something.
I almost forgot. He would have killed me. Jake says flaps.
Oh, thanks, Jake. That was very important. You're right. He would have killed you. He would have listened, especially the last one. He would have listened to this whole episode, and then you would have not said flaps. He'd have been so disappointed.
He would have given me a very stern phone call, maybe a angrily handwritten letter.
Well, flaps to you, Jake. That's so funny. No, I mean, parenting it takes a lot, and you have young ones right now too. So you're like, it's not like you're the parent of teenagers. Like when they're teenagers, they don't bother you really. But you got young kids, so it does take up a lot of time. And man, it's interesting being a parent. I know, I get it. Not to 4. I didn't have 4. I had 1, and that was enough. But good for you.
Yeah.
Someone's got to keep populating the earth,
My wife thinks I'm crazy. I could keep going, but my wife put an end to that. She said, "You are done, sir. We're setting up an appointment," and we did.
She's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, we're done.
She's like, maybe when you can start carrying them, we'll have another.
That's the argument she used too. It's kind of funny.
Oh, well, I mean, I get it. Man, kudos to her. She's the real MVP here. Your wife.
She is. She's a stud. Let me tell you. Oh,
I mean, she must be for you to want to keep having kids with her. You know what I mean? Like that's a big deal.
I may be attracted to her. I don't know.
Oh, just maybe a little bit, kind of. In case y'all didn't know, like Jeremy has a really hot wife. I've never seen her. I've never, but I want to go ahead and get that on the rumor mill already. That's what people are going to know you as. Oh, Jeremy, the guy with the hot wife. So
the hot wife and the 4 kids.
Yeah, the hot wife and the 4 kids.
Yeah.
He reads books. I don't know. Plays one video game exactly. No, I'm
good
really
stuff.
I'm really excited. I'm excited that we have an excuse to actually work together with some type of regularity. Because like I said, I came on your show that one time. It absolutely blew me away, and I need some of that in my life. So I'm going
Good.
to take advantage of you and your research and knowledge. So consensually, of course.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you've decided to be here. So, but I think the audience is going to love what you bring to the table. I know I'm going to. I already kind of know what we're looking at and looking forward to. You know, I've been saying it this whole episode with people. I already know what the topics are. Let me tell you guys. When I tell you guys that Jeremy came in clutch with no less than like 15 topics, I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, they're all done too. They're ready to roll.
He was ready. He's like, "Oh, I got topics." I'm like, "Okay, I just need one," and he's like, "Here's a bunch."
Which one do you want? Just choose one.
Right.
Close your eyes and point.
And I was like, "Well, I guess let me see what everybody else picks. I don't know yet." But yeah, it's you know, so already you know, going above and beyond in true fashion. I mean, you know, because that just seems to be what you do, and you're great at it. So keep that shit up. And everybody that you guys have heard here today, everybody's going to have links down in the description. It's going to take you a while to get through, I know, but you definitely need to go checking these people out and getting prepared for what's to come in the future, because it's going to be fucking phenomenal, like nothing you've ever seen before, I promise. At least mostly because people that do stuff like this are insane, and so we'll see how it goes. Now I'm confident, and thank you again for coming on and letting people know who you are, and I look forward to talking with you more in the future.
I look forward to it. I look forward to talking to the listeners too. You know, I'm very easy and you know, I love conversations, so don't be a stranger.
So there's the other thing about Jeremy. He's very easy. He just said himself. So that's the other rumor. That's
I'm not going to fight it.
So everybody reach out to Jeremy. He's the easy one. I'm just kidding. But no, absolutely. Feel free to engage with these people. They're here for a reason. You know, this is me talking to you as listeners. They want you to engage with them. So feel free to reach out, introduce yourselves. If you are a hardcore listener of the show, you already know who you are. And we'll just see what the future holds.